Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Welcome to the channel where we do some technical analysis of the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta, looking at Microsoft and Google as well. We use a lot of things on this channel, but one of the things that we're paying attention to is the fact that we need to be trading like water. Volatility is now coming back into this market, and you see this 4-hour chart right here for the VIX is going to possibly cross up today. We could get that 2 hour into positive territory, so it's a time where volatility can be up, which means this market's going to be harder to trade in. So make sure that you know we do have about 11 or 10 days, maybe 10 days left to get that course for 149 before that price increases. So if you want to learn about indicators and things like that, check out that course. And if you want those weekly ranges, we have the Patreon down below. But let's click through and see what is going on today. Just wanted to show the first thing here. Volatility is starting to ramp up a little bit right as we get some earnings. So let's pay attention to that going forward. And then as we click on down the line here, we can see the SPY. What were we talking about with the SPY? Well, the 2 hour crossing over into negative territory, right? Continuing that negative trend is overall what I believe is going to happen for now. But I think this may be some kind of big trap that is coming. We'll pay attention to the signals to see if that trap is actually true, right? If that's actually happening, if that's coming to fruition. As of right now, we could see this curl up early on in the day. So we want to be patient. We want to make sure we're paying attention to how we can get screwed. But really, if you didn't notice, if you didn't see last night's video, really it was just something like this happening is what I'm leaning towards, even reaching a deeper point, maybe even going down to that weekly. If we can set up some kind of divergence like this area here would be great to bounce from. Anywhere we can make a divergence here would be solid. And then actually, I think we may actually see some upticks. Now, we'll have to see if that starts to invalidate and that doesn't really form, then that is going to be something to really pay attention to, because that could just mean we're not going to see this thing bounce. And the next bounce might be we might have to wait a little bit for the more sturdy bounce going out there. Sorry, just changing some stuff around real quick. And all right, now let's look at this. So this would be the 2 hour crossing over. We already talked about that, right? Look for some kind of divergence down here. This would be a sturdier base. Right now, this isn't the sturdiest of bases. So if we wanted to do this, that would make sense. But we can also do something like this, where the 30-minute curls down, gets close to this center line, right? This is what we were talking about in the video. And then we see that curl back up, and I got to turn my brightness up. I turn it down in the morning because when I'm waking up, it's hard to stare at some bright red and green bars. But this is really what you have to pay attention to. So if you're planning on, hey, yeah, this thing's going to break down to this level or go test this low, well, how could you get screwed? How could this thing really go against you? Well, if this curls back up into positive. So you really just have to watch this 30-minute. If that curl up happens, probably going to be something there. So same thing goes for the Qs. Now notice this about the SPY and the Qs. We're outside of the daily expected moves at this point, but we got outside of the weekly, so it makes sense for us to want to pull back. This was a great thing to post. We posted this on Patreon. If you want to go get a part of that, down in the description, we were just pointing out, hey, if we keep coming up to this level, we were posting it right about here, just saying, hey, remember, if we get outside of this or if we test it or something like that, you can see this ripped away because you have a 68% chance to head lower from here. It's all the options market placed in. Now we're outside of these dailies, so that just means something drastic can happen here if we're not able to build back up to there. Even if we do, we can use that as a retest to head lower. I don't know why I'm burping so much. We can use that as a retest to head lower, so we have to pay attention to that going forward. And maybe that's where we want to look at like a 15-minute curl up and then see if that rejects from this level. As of right now, this thing is going, so we'll have to see if it's a gap and go. But we are closing this gap. This is the first place to really pay attention to right as we open this morning. Trying to get through these kind of quick, but Apple's seeing some strength. Okay, now this would be the similar thing, right? Just waiting for this to roll over. 2 hour rolls over negative territory. Tesla, this one we can watch. 30-minute breaks down for a little while, then we see that curl back up. The next big move is most likely coming when you see that curl up down there on the MACD on the 30-minute. Okay, so we're paying attention to that for Tesla, and we're trying to get through these a little bit quick here. Amazon breaking down to lower levels. So what do we pay attention to? 2 hour. Okay, 2 hours is going to be very important here if we can form anything. And look at that as we open. This is where you really have to, oh, that is some major selling on Amazon to start off. Let's go click on the indices. We'll get to the other stocks as we are clicking around today. That was crazy. That's a crazy look at everything starting to boot up here. So oh my goodness, that is a drop off if I've ever seen one. Let's click through, see what Nvidia's doing. Remember, Nvidia, same signal. We can, like, the cool part about this is you can pay attention to these signals on every single chart, and whichever one shows you that signal, that's the one you can take, right? We can take those. But me, myself, during this time, I am going to be trading like water and waiting for a better trade at this point. I'm really going to be focused on watching which ones are hitting their weekly expected moves, which ones are getting solid bounces, anything like that. Seeing if this 2 hour can curl over throughout today will be very important. But if that hits some level like this by tomorrow and we get some good news, oh, now you have a better buying point. So we can see another big reaction. Remember, from this area, if we do curl up, we do have the potential still for this to be some kind of head and shoulders. So just pay attention to that. But it really looks like the direction, at least for now, is going to be down towards this area. And we'll have to be proven wrong on that. How can we be proven wrong? 30-minute curls back up. You see how it's right by the center line? So really, early on in the morning is where we kind of have to hold up in this overall move. All right, I played that little downturn. I played it. So I'm going to take profit early this morning. I still think we have the opportunity to set up some kind of bounce out there. A little UVXY play. Nothing too much to make anything off of. Just about a 75% gain right at the open there. If I would have found a better buying point, that would have been better. I think I bought like somewhere in here in all this time. I kind of added back in right here, but all this time here kind of beat me up, and then we see that big drop. But hey, able to make some profit, 75%, nothing to be sad about, really. All right, let's look at the chat. How are you guys doing this morning? Good morning, Dal. Good morning, JS, Melody, DB Trades, Brian, James, More Pando, Amin, Stocks and Talks, Double Dark, and Matthew. Good morning. Let's make some money out there today. And if we're struggling to make money, what can we do? Well, we can get that course is 149 for the next 10 days. I don't know, May 4th. May 4th, that thing's going to go up in price. I'm also thinking of implementing, they allow me to put in a payment plan, but I haven't really messed with that just yet. So right now we're just seeing volatility scream higher. One thing I wanted to point out I was noticing this morning was this right here. And this would be the 2 hour divergence. And thank you guys for liking. I see those likes coming in. So thank you, Gabo, and I appreciate it. Dave, thank you for being here from the left coast. One thing about the dollar here that formed overnight was, okay, now we kind of see some 2 hour divergence here. What does that do? It rolls up the 4 hour. So we have the potential for a major sell-off here. And I want you to be aware of that as volatility does climb higher. Now, am I leaning towards that? I'm actually not. I know that's crazy, but I'm actually not. I think we're going to see some kind of pop in volatility and then see that fade. But it doesn't mean I have to be right. That's an I think. Until I see those signals, I can keep the other short that I do have and see if we're able to see something crazy happen, and that's perfectly fine with me. But if I start to see things like this form, 2 hour divergence, anything like that starts to confirm, positive territory. Apple actually wanting to curl up on its daily MACD. I just wanted to point that out. Stuff's selling, but Apple confirming a divergence here. So one stock that's actually telling you like, hey, I'm about to scream higher is actually Apple, which is very interesting. It's earnings come out next Thursday. So that's very, very interesting going forward. Something we can watch for today to see if we want to see a continuation style trade. Well, that would be Tesla, but it's not backing off enough. But if it does hold at these levels, you get a new weekly range. Maybe this does pull back a tiny bit or just keep going sideways, and then you see that pop higher. So we'll pay attention to that. Things have been beat up for a long time. Really, we just have to watch the SPY. DJT, let's see what happened here. Did it get down to our zone ever? It didn't. It wasn't able to get there. Remember, we were talking about this as well, the cupping, right? This is where you would want to make that cup, the handle that could form. Now, we did have the 2 hour that said, hey, I could do something like this. But now this is what you're looking for on the SPY pretty much, is you don't want this to start to confirm. If this starts to happen on the SPY, you're going to want to get out of any short positions because now you're completing structure. You can get a big measured move here, and DJT can go all the way up to something like $50. So it looks like Trump Media is going to have a pretty solid bounce there. Meta, we have to look at Meta. Like, look at this on the daily scale. Okay, what happens? Well, we said, you know, 453.08 is very important. We gap below that. Now we're gapping into a gap, so most likely we are going to come fill down here. Most likely come into test that 200, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. But as these stocks fall off, you know, people could be convinced that there is good buying points here. So I just want to pay attention to that. I just want to pay attention to any kind of bounce that could happen. Even Microsoft here, showing that we could see some upside. okay, just because of the fading of momentum. Now, this right now, obviously, you know, downside, but as we are hitting some key levels in here, we're breaking through this area right here. That is not good. So we probably need to buy this back up by the end of today. If this keeps dropping out, well, then you're going to head into the next point of liquidity for Microsoft, probably down towards a 377 to 380 level. So a little bit lower than we are now. From there, we could see some sort of bounce. So if we wanted to touch the bottom of the channel, touch the bottom of that would make some sense there. Google dropping off, right? This is one we were pointing out literally over the last 2 days, just saying, hey, double top is possible. Watch for the 2-hour divergence up here because you have a bunch of divergence through this move. Now we can see that weakness come in. The only thing about this is we still have earnings. Okay, we still have earnings after hours today. So Friday, we're going to see some kind of reaction from this move. Where could that take us to? Well, let's look. Are we touching any expected moves or anything like that? That's going to be a big, big factor. So we're going to look at we're going to look at Google. And we're not even close to those moves as of right now. So we're actually moving down. That's perfectly fine. What can we take from this? Well, if we go negative, that's a bad sign. If we start to go negative, that's pretty bad, right? Negative on the MACD, that'd be bad. We're already down there on the RSI, so you can probably say, hey, yeah, that might come. But if we wanted to, what could be here? Well, we could be making something like this as a base down here, get some kind of reaction from this level. That's what I'd be paying attention to. But as of right now, I think the most important thing, probably going to be the 30-minute. You're going to, oh, not 45, the 30-minute. You're really going to want to watch this because you notice it's not in negative territory yet. So that tells me I have the potential for some kind of bounce here. And I just want to be a little bit cautious with it. I just want to be relaxed with it. NVIDIA actually seeing another, see, this one's holding up. So this is one where you have to react differently because it's not necessarily seeing some kind of drop off. If this crosses up positive territory, I don't care if there's a weekly range here. It can see some kind of pop, and then you'll want to pay attention to any kind of signal up in this area before close on Friday. But if we're able to hold above that level on Friday, well then, looks like we're going to head higher for NVIDIA. So just be cautious with that. AMD, similar thing, right? We saw that break down for a moment, but now we're seeing that buy back up, and it's right by the center line. So we just have to pay attention to a lot of these. Okay, not Meta, but a lot of these stocks. Because even though they're seeing some dramatic drop-offs, you're still by the center line on a lot of these. Google might be a little bit down there. No, Google's not. And here's the, oh, this is a, I can't believe I didn't see this. This is actually like kind of sick if someone did this because there's a 15-minute divergence in here. Now, okay, but it didn't confirm before this move, right? It didn't confirm before this move. But, I mean, if you're weighing the probabilities here, it's probable it comes down. But that didn't confirm, so it's not the best to take. It didn't even cross on the center line on the RSI or anything like that. But if you took a trade here with Google, congratulations, because if you had the balls to take this signal before it confirmed, that's going to be a print. Hopefully you had other reasons to take the trade if you did go short there. Netflix, this is one we were talking about on the 2-hour, seeing if that wanted to create some kind of divergence. DLT is getting close to the gap below. DGC is a safety to be rolling, NVIDIA jumping up. Good morning, Anthony. We're going to take a look at TLT in a moment. See, this is where that double bottom can come in. So that's really what I'm paying attention to here. Seeing if we can have some kind of double bottom. Pretty much if Netflix sees this rotation up. And I just want you to remember, Netflix printed great earnings. This is a great earnings print. It really is. And then they dropped off because they're not giving subscriber counts. So this could see some back and forth as people try to fight back and forth. But as of right now, you'd say, what if this is some kind of big cup? This is just a really deep handle. And then we start to maybe form the cup again here and get a handle. And then we head up. That's something I'd pay attention to with Netflix. It looks like it could turn up. The reason I'm talking about upside too is a little bit because of Apple. Now this thing's been trickling up for some time, but it did just confirm a divergence today. If we can get a green print here, you got a divergence confirming, and then that could get you back up into this zone by next week. So next week, maybe before earnings, what if we see a big move and then that's flushed? Or what if this is calling that Apple's actually being downgraded and everyone's talking crap on it for no reason? We'll have to find out. VIX is up 7.71%. So that's where, so this probably would have printed a little bit more for me, but I want to take profit early. I'm still kind of like in the theory of we could see some kind of bigger bounce. I really do. I just don't think this was a good base. Sure, I think we can go lower, but I'm really going to pay attention to the signals down here. I think we could see some kind of drop off and then that just starts to go the other way. I really think we're going to see a sustainable bounce from this, if not a recovery. So at the just seasonality wise, but if we're able to see some kind of pullback and then see that pump during May and then see that ripped away, we'd have the sell in May and go away crowd. So that's just something to pay attention to. But the crash signal is there. Just know that the crash signal is there. But we have a lot more data coming out. We have earnings. We have PCE, right, tomorrow. So we have a lot going on that we need to pay attention to. What I would pay attention to right now, see if this happens. If this happens, maybe go into a shorter time frame. Go into like an hourly or something like that. Look for this to confirm something here. And you could find the next big move up over the next week or so. It really could happen. When everyone thinks that this thing's going to burn and go to the ground, you say, hey, there's divergence here. Let me take a play on this. And then you see some upside. You target next week's weekly expected move. Everything that you're learning in the course, pretty much. So we learn a lot of this in the course. And remember, it's 149 for the next 10 to 11 days. Driving home from the Texas house to the Florida house, and I had to pull over to take profit on shorts. It's a good morning. Enjoy your day. Well done, Bernie. Hopefully you guys are winning out there. Remember, if you're part of the Patreon, you're part of the chats, and you had a good play that you're proud of today, you can post that in the chat section that we set up so we can talk about stocks. I know I haven't looked at it in the last like 24 hours. I hope you guys are chatting in there about stuff. I just haven't been able to look at it. We've been kind of crazy. We went house shopping yesterday, so that was fun. We saw 3 houses. 2 of them were not it. One of them is maybe it. We have to buy, but salary come on the 1st of May. It's going to last till the 4th, Melody. Foxy puppy, you foxy little puppy. That's so funny. But it's just going to be till May 4th. So you have time, 149. So if you're able to get that by May 1st, you'll be perfectly fine. I think I put it in the description like it's till May 1st. But I like Star Wars, so pretty much my wife was like, why don't we do May the 4th? So you can be like, May the 4th be with you. Stuff like that, but I'm a nerd. Me too. Thank you for yesterday's instruction. You're very, very welcome. And we're just looking for how we can get screwed up in this move, and that would be if the 30 minutes able to curl back up. I think that's definitely possible. I'll get it as soon as it comes in. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you have plenty of time, giving that little bit of extra time into May. I know that last time some people were like, literally on the day after I took down the last sale, people were just like, oh crap, I really want it today. And then I ended up doing it for another day. So I'm just going to do it for a little bit. Do you show how to set up TradingView in your course? Yeah, we show you how to set up the indicators. Okay, we show you how to set up the indicators. I tell you the values that I use in my indicators, and then I talk about the even the moving averages and everything like that. I actually do that as well. We go through that. I show you how to set all those up, and then you'll be good to go. Yep, so we show you how to set it up, because if I don't set it up for you properly, right, you don't get it set up properly, then it's kind of like, how am I supposed to use them properly? So we talk a lot about these indicators, and I think that's some of people's biggest feedback was like the MACD section. People have really been commenting on. They've been like, holy crap, it's actually changed how I think about the MACD. And I'm like, okay, good. Because when I figured this stuff out, I had the same reaction. So it's cool to see it from other people. Sniped Meta. Nice. Okay. So Meta, remember, this was a 50-50 flip here. You're seeing green numbers again. So I'm not going to lie. The other earnings, I've been paying attention. I don't even know why Meta sold off. I just know this. It sold off because this was a 50-50 flip, and this time it was red, and now it goes down. That's how I see it. It takes a VIX play for 29 days out. Woke up to a 50% pop. Guess take that. Lil Mayo can always re-enter. Yeah, and I made 75% on my volatility play this morning, and I'm already out. I'm not trying to take anything too long. I actually think we have the potential for one more push higher. I would really like a sturdier lower high if that's what we're going to get on the daily scale. But I actually think that, according to seasonality, we actually could see a push and maybe even test all-time high going into next month. So I'm not, it's pretty much like this is the first scare, and I think we might get some kind of actual like euphoria, like crazy euphoria higher to where people are actually convinced. Because think about it, everyone has in their mind geopolitical stuff. Everyone has in their mind earnings. Everyone has in their mind. So if anyone wanted to go short for the next 2 months and then it crashes, it seems kind of easy to me. And that's just my style of thinking. Of course, if it happens, I'm going to react. But my thinking here is, what if we actually got rid of that sentiment and then saw the real rug pull happen? Nvidia's going to rocket, and we're looking at this 30-minute cross up, positive territory, you guys. This move can happen. Be cautious at that weekly expected move, but as you approach the end of the week, it starts to be a little bit more okay to land outside of this move, right? Because if you land outside of it at the end of the week, first of all, you don't have enough time to maybe see that selling come in. And second of all, you're going to get new weekly ranges next week, and you could see another upward move. It is kind of looking like a higher low. It is. I just want to wait for confirmation. One of the confirmations is happening right now. Look at the RSI down here. So this is something you can pay attention to, the center line on the RSI. This one is a little bit quicker than the MACD. So that is trying to push through right now. So this would be a sign like, hey, we're going to go higher. Just make sure you wait the full 13 minutes because as you can see, the selling can come in and we could easily get some kind of rejection. So you just want to watch out if you go with this play. Okay, first of all, you're above the weekly here. So if you're taking any play into Friday, I would just say, hey, if you see a rip, I would be selling that move a little bit quick, just because if you're taking Friday expiration, you are outside of these weeklies, little worrisome. But if you got a week or so in advance, you can go like this, right? We can see something form there. Apparently, they're spending too much on Nvidia chips and capex. Okay, so they're spending like our government. Is that what it is? But look at that, great volatility. Hopefully, some people are able to benefit from that. I really, really hope so, because I know that this market's going to get a lot more complicated. It really will. It's a lot harder to trade in once you start seeing those fluctuations up and down. People are better at trading with a consistent trend. VTI, I don't think I've looked at that too much, so we'll take a look. But similar, it's going to be similar to the overall market right now. Curling over on the 2 hour is what I see happening. I want to see what happens by end of day, though. I want to see if we're at this level by end of day, and then we see a little buy up, and then we get some good earnings, and that pushes us higher. That's what I'd really pay attention to here. If I zoom across here, this level's good. I think if we go lower, probably that 243.50 level looks like a good place if we're going to set up some kind of divergence. 243.50-ish, then we see that turn back around. Hood, we haven't looked at Robinhood in a long time. I don't think I've ever looked at Robinhood on this channel, actually. But you kind of see what I'm talking about, how we can dip through this level. Now, does Robinhood want to lose this level? It's got some more support right beneath it. So if it wanted a divergence, maybe this level down here, right about 1620 to, right in this zone, 1620 to 1550 area. Now, because we have this going on, right, we see three bottoms, what can we do? We can go into a shorter time frame and see, is this a triple divergence? Right now, you'd say, yeah, and it's right by positive territory. Hood actually could see buying up here. You just want that confirmation for sure to the upside, right? It's been in a negative trend for a little while here, but you see all the divergence across the way. This was a great trade to take, by the way. You see the triple divergence, goes positive. You see that cross, take the play. All right, right here, take the play. Then we go positive. This is all stuff you're going to learn in the course, but you see it go positive. Okay, I can hold that a little bit. Now up here, I'm overbought. Okay, maybe I take some profit off the table. Maybe even in the course, I learn, because I teach you how to make those ranges for any stock that you're looking at. You can create those ranges. As long as you have an expiration date and some implied volatility, you can make it. And I show you an easy way to do that on Robinhood. So why not use it on Robinhood? Maybe that weekly range was something like this. Right? Maybe the weekly range was something like this down here, and then that popped up, and you know, hey, take profit at this level. So that's where it's very, very useful. But this is a great trade setup. It could be another one if we can see some buying pressure here. Now, if I look on the higher up time frames, though, you're going to say 2 hour could curl down. So how could you get screwed if you take an upside move? If you break through this level right here, you might just get weaseled out, and then that reaction happens later. So just be cautious with that. Qs, what are they doing? Still trying to fight it back up. They're trying their hardest to fight it back up and see what's going to happen here. But the 2 hour really looks like we could roll over. Maybe even looking at a 5 minute, you can see if we're flagging or something like that. Most likely we are going to see some kind of flag, then we'll dip down. Something we could pay attention to throughout the day, if we see some sell-off, is what if we get a 5 minute divergence or something like that, down in this area, or a 15. I would like a 15 minute. Maybe a 15-minute divergence goes like this, and then we pop down like here. That would be very, very cool. NEM is moving. What do you think of Sun? Oh, Solar Bank. Okay. Now these here, right? I don't mess around with this on the technical side just because I don't have enough data. If I pull it to a daily, look at this. It's just not pretty. What I would say about anything like this is an opportunity to where if you go through their numbers, if you go through their business plan, if you go through their clients, you go through their productivity, you go through everything in the company, and you say, hey, this is probably actually worth $10 based on my assessment. Okay, then I'm very comfortable as an investor at 5.9, but would I be trying to trade this with options? No, I would not. I would not be trying to trade this with options, guys. It is not going to be pretty. You're going to get ripped around. You could just say, hey, this is going to go to $10, and then it just immediately goes to $3. Be careful with this, but I would just say if you're looking at anything that looks like this, make sure to look actually into the company, see how they're doing productivity-wise. Solar Bank Corporation, okay, they have earnings coming up. What's that earnings supposed to be? All right, maybe I could click into some more financials. Maybe I can look at some info, but not really anything we could break down on this channel right now. I mean, you did have 15 minutes of, like, this is a mess. So technical side, a little bit difficult. You trade natural gas. I don't really trade natural gas. If anything, I trade like gold, sometimes oil. Selling calls on cold. Oh, shit. All right, let's try to go through our stuff here. So first of all, I think something like this you got to look at on the daily, right? We got to look at what it's doing on the daily. And what's happening on the daily right now? Well, you had divergence. You had divergence up at these highs. Okay, cool. Actually, you just had that on the RSI, but not the MACD at the same time. So what does that mean? Even though this is dramatic, this is most likely a pullback. Now, what's happening from here? Well, it's flagging out for quite some time. Here's what you do. If this is going to break through this high right here, it's most likely going to cross on this MACD to the upside. You're already positive on the RSI. The second move could be coming. A swing trader would be trying to buy this right here. A swing trader would be investing here, not necessarily taking an option, but saying, because this is a daily scale, what if this just starts to break to the upside? That's what I think is going to happen most likely, but we'll have to see, right? I haven't gotten those confirmations yet. But good sign, RSI above the center line. You're taking back the moving averages. All you need is that crossing of the MACD, and you're probably going to see a strong move. You know, first we can test this level, then we can test this level, then we can test this level, and you just move your stop up every single time to these levels when you break through. Seasonality is that we see some kind of little drop off. It really is. Isn't that funny? I actually looked at seasonality this morning just to see. Seasonality would say this: hey, we're still going to do some funky business for a little bit of time, maybe do something like this, and then we're going to actually end up with another bull run. Now, I'm not doing any analysis based on seasonality, but it lines up with what I was saying in my video last night. So I'm going to pay attention to the fact that, and we talked about that on this channel, the fact that we could see a move to a new all-time high in May, and then we have the sell in May and go away crowd come in. Maybe there's a rate cut. Maybe Israel-Iran scales up. Maybe World War III. Maybe just inflation goes insane with an inflation report, and we just see this thing dramatically drop off. You know, all of those things can happen at this point. Even though I'm expecting more downside, what am I doing? Well, I made money on this move. So this is something cool to talk about with playing volatility, because you have to be very quick with it. Okay, I see the move. I can make 75%. I made 75% this morning. So why would I sell here instead of playing out all the way down to where I think the price is going to go? Well, because it negates me from getting screwed. It does. It stops me from even getting remotely screwed by some kind of random buyback on the 30-minute here. I'd have to wait and make sure this 2-hour confirms. So I'm just going to take it all off. I think there's an opportunity right here. I really think there's going to be an opportunity to the upside here. And I could be wrong. So that's where I'll have hedges in place, right? And I'll have a stop in place as well. Boom, like this. I take this upside bounce, then I can play that low as my stop. But that's why I move quickly, is because if I take a call on UVXY, I'm going to be moving very quickly. Thank you guys for coming in. 160 people in here. 160 people in here. How you doing this morning? Thank you guys for liking, subscribing. And remember, that course is $149. This weekend would be a great opportunity to take it. You can take it over the weekend, and then maybe you can take it twice, right? Once you buy it, you own it. You can log in as many times. I encourage you to refer back to it. When you're looking at a trade setup, you're saying, hey, is this divergence correct? Go to the divergence section, all that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I tell the ladies too when they ask me why I was so quick. I just wanted to get out before anything bad happened. It's funny, you guys can't see. Oh, but if I do move, I'll have a new office. I'll trade like for a shout out. Martial law. Stop it. MU's killing me. Oh no, what's that guy doing? I was looking at Intel. I actually think Intel tomorrow might surprise people. MU looks like it's trying to base out here. How could you get screwed in this move? 30-minute rolls up on the MACD here. Starting to cross up, cross down, but if this wants to base out here, another move higher could come. One thing I was looking at was Intel. I think it's INTC, but I just wanted to make sure. Intel, I wanted to show you guys this on the daily and just show you how this thing is really beat down. And it's coming into an area with good support. And the earnings are pretty much expected to be very, very tamed. Look at the last one, 0.447. This one, 0.137. I actually think this has a good opportunity to go up. But am I trading it? No. I'm just saying this is one that I might pay attention to if I want to swing trade to the upside. If I see some kind of big move and then we see that go this way, now I can trade that up. I'm not necessarily taking a trade around this. I want to be very, very clear on that. The other one would be like Microsoft. You're right. You're not trying to take too much on Microsoft, but it's in an area where a good bounce could happen. You see the 2 hour down here creating a divergence on the RSI, but not necessarily the MACD at the same time. So it's pretty much if we are going to see major downside, I think Microsoft doesn't give you a cookie, and I think Intel doesn't give you a cookie, and we just see this thing start to flush. Google, right, doesn't give you a cookie or anything like that. Google looking weak from the momentum perspective. Bar, thank you, Mr. M. Law. Intel looks like it may be a decent opportunity. It's up. Yeah, and I'm just saying, from an investment standpoint, I was like, oh, okay, this looks like a good 6-month hold, maybe. It looks like a good 3 to 6 month hold, in my opinion. You didn't take profit, Lucas. Now you have a kid. Oh, that's solid. I'm going to buy your course. Cheers. Hey, Anthony says good call. And I really appreciate that, Dustin. And remember, in the course multiple times, it's not one of those, I'm not some big YouTube guy that just wants to, you know, say, hey, give me your money and run, learn how to do it. No, you can email me. You can ask me questions. People have asked me questions plenty through email, through Patreon, if you're a part of it. And I really enjoy getting to respond to you guys. I really do, because I know where I was at a few years ago, and I wish I had someone to actually ask questions. But in my circle, I was the only person doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm more long-term because I haven't taken your course yet. And yeah, you can look at that course. Once we're in volatility is scaling up, which is right now, it's looking good. Sure seems like a bounce is inevitable. And I really, really think that bounce is going to come. I just think we could see a little bit of downside to really flush people out. Let's go look. Puts are starting to climb, right? PCC is starting to climb just a little bit here. If that can go like this, well, when it crosses this red line, that's initially bearish. And then you notice as we cross back down, we're going to get pops where it's going to be bounces, okay? So as we cross up, a little bit bearish. Now we're going to cross up again. Let's see if we can get bearish there. And then I have marked off the spike levels. So if we see some random spike, that's usually a good contrarian indicator up there towards 1.413. I wanted to take a look at gold. You guys remember this was my gold trade going on into Monday. This is something I took profit on this week. So I've actually had 2 good trades, 1 bad trade this week. So I had a good trade on gold dropping off, good trade on volatility, and then I think I had something bad here, and I can't even remember which one it was. I'm pretty sure it was Apple. Apple, I was trying to play this fade. I kind of got out of it early on in the week as it just did not cross back down on the 30-minute or the 2 hour here. But now you can see maybe I need to look at that again. Maybe I need to look at my weekly ranges or something like that, because Apple going up pretty dramatically here, and guess what? It went outside that weekly expected move. So this is where we can see some sort of turnaround for Apple. Want to be clear about that. Oh gosh, but that's fine, because here's the thing. If I would have held it all the way up to there, I would have lost more money. So at least the fact that I was like, I didn't really put a stop in. I was just waiting for that to turn back around. And it just wouldn't for me. It just wouldn't. So now I'm going to have to see what's happening with Apple going forward. That thing is selling off. So you could say, hey, this thing's going to drop down to this level. No reason to really take the trade here yet, though. I'm not seeing structure or anything like that. So that's something I'll pay attention to going forward, just being like, hey, yeah, there's no real structure going on into this move. How many of these do I have? Okay, so I do have a little bit here. Reposition this a little bit. It looks like I did keep half my shorts there. I gotta get my notebook out. Damn it! This is why I have a notebook, guys. Having ADHD is a blessing and a curse when it comes to trading. I have to like write down what I do, or else I forget it. I know that's crazy. I have a computer in front of me, but it just helps my brain if I write it down. Everyone's brains are different, guys. Don't make fun of me. Man, I thought I was just gonna be trapped in my shorts, LMFAO. Well, yeah, eventually that rug gets pulled, and maybe we got some help with Meta, right? Maybe that was something. I thought you said you liked Apple. I do like Apple. I do like Apple for a pullback here. I do like Apple doing this. But is this a sturdy enough base to justify this? This is a good sign. This is a good sign that we're going to see an upward move. But I would just say this, 30-minute, look at that. This is why I'm saying, so when I talk about longer time frame, I can like it, but shorter time frame, I cannot like it, right? Because look at this 30-minute. Now, what can I pay attention to for an actual entry? Because I know the daily looks like it could get a strong move. Okay, or it could have that momentum dying out and we get some kind of good bounce. All right, well, what if this goes like this and then curls up? Well, now I have that entry point, right? I have that entry point. If I enter here, first of all, time eats away at me and the price eats away at me. And then by the time I get here, I would just say, man, I wish I just waited. I wish I was just patient. So the fact that I see a good thing on the daily does not mean I'm going to invest or trade it right away. I'm going to still be patient and wait for the setup. I hope that's a little bit helpful there, Matthew. They have a new game console? Microsoft move down seems nonsensical, but it's curling down into negative territory. So that's where, if you're part of the Patreon, I would just be paying attention to expected moves and things like that. It'll be helpful, but we can see Microsoft still has a big move priced in. It's not down towards a weekly or anything like that, but if that continues to the downside, it's not going to be very pretty. All right, it's not going to be very pretty, all right? Let's see. I mean, you got to look. I mean, I'm going to look at some Microsoft stuff here, but nothing really jumping out at me at this point. You could see that upward move. Where could you go? Well, we can go up towards 440 maybe, something like that. 420, 440, something like that would make sense. But I don't want to play anything here. I want to find a stock that's giving me like a great setup, right? I want something that is giving me a great setup, meaning I want to see these signals, right? I want to see the same thing I'm seeing develop here on Microsoft for the 2 hour. See the 2 hour giving me a divergence on the RSI, not necessarily crossed yet, but that's okay. If it rejects, that's just as good. I want to see it outside of an expected move or something like that. I think that would be very, very good. So the fact that Apple's going outside this way, I can see if there's a trade setup here going into next week. AMD, nothing there. NVIDIA, this one curling up. Let's see that 30-minute. People are talking about NVIDIA right now. Look at that 30-minute curling up positive territory. So there's just a couple things to be worried about here. All right. The weekly expected move is somewhere up in this area, right? It's literally right above where we are right now. So be very, very cautious here. This is a sell-off zone. This could be some kind of ABC down. Now, this is not the most dramatic selling, right? We're not getting selling, sideways, selling. So that would tell me this does have potential to go higher, and it's about to curl up on that MACD. You notice the MACD hasn't curled up, and RSI is hovering at the center line. We're right at that weekly expected move. So if this is going to be an A, B, C up, well, we'd probably end up somewhere around here, 869, and then that's where I would definitely take profit. You're outside the weekly expect. Just be careful. Your expiration is going to be literally tomorrow if you're trading this pretty quick. So I know a lot of you guys trade like that. That's why I'm saying it. I'm not taking anything right here. I'm looking for the best trade setup possible, and I think if I'm patient, I'm going to find something really good. Key is we'll see if this is kind of flagging right now. That's pretty much what we're looking for. It's perfectly fine to see some flagging in here. Even a reaction up like this would make sense, but see if those sellers can step in. 5 minute next curl down is probably going to be the next move down. I just want to be very, very clear about that. Most likely we get a curl up for a little bit. Hey, we get close to that center line, and then boom, it drops. But if we want a V-shape recovery here, boom, we can pay attention to our 30 minutes. So there's just a lot to pay attention to, and that's why I'm taking profit on my shorts a little bit early, because if this just curls up, I'm going to be screwed. So I am sitting, waiting for the perfect trade setup. And volatility starting to scale up very quickly here. Remember, I'm still leaning towards maybe a little bit bigger pop here, but eventually I think this fades and we actually see an upward move after we create some 2-hour divergences, which you're seeing it on a lot of charts, right? We're seeing it on a lot of, not necessarily Apple, but we're seeing it on Amazon, right? We see that form there for Amazon. So that's something to pay attention to going forward. But oh, Amazon. Now, is Amazon outside its move? That's what I'm checking on real quick. Amazon did go outside of its move for a brief moment there. If you're able to catch that, if you're part of the Patreon and you try to catch something at that 167 level, very, very good play there as you create that divergence down here. Now you could say, uh-oh, what if this thing turns around? Well, that's a strong reaction in one bar. And look at that, you're not even crossed on the center line here. So looks like some kind of strong move could come. Just wait for that to confirm. There could always be a double dip, you know what I'm saying? And if you wanted to, actually, I was looking at this. I just peeked at this real quick. The 30-minute, you got this flatness divergence here. This would most likely what I would use for an entry point. If this actually does curl up, good sign we're going to see positivity going forward here. From Amazon, from the momentum perspective. But remember, it's a wild week. We got more data coming out tomorrow. We got more data. We got more earnings. We got more everything. So it's a week to be cautious. That's why I'm not going to buy anything today, probably. You think it will go back to 480 is the middle of the week low. So when you see a big drop off like this, I just want to say most of the time it continues, but good numbers here. So possibly we could see like, hey, a lot of things had good numbers and we could see a tick up. What I'd show you is, well, first of all, you created that divergence down here still. But where could Meta be going to? I would say if it's able to take back 453.08, I'd be happier. Notice how important this level was, right? It's the gap here. So what I'd be paying attention to right now is the 5 minute going to reject from that level, right? When you see the initial pull down, look how deep it is on the 5 minute. Most of the time you see some kind of trickle up and then you see a second plunge, and then this is actually where you get some kind of bounce. But Meta on the daily here, not looking the prettiest. You probably have some moving averages way above you can use as resistance. Remember how the daily works with these Bollinger Bands. A lot of the time when you see a dramatic move out, what happens? Well, we gravitate. We try to retest the 5. So if I was trying to get into a short move here, I would wait, see that retest of the 5, look for structure, see that turn back down, and then take that play. But if I was thinking, hey, this thing needs to buy back up, well, we got to fight our way back above 453.08, in my opinion, and then see that MACD start to curl up down here, or the RSI get above the center line. That's what I would say. It's just a good day to be patient, and that's what I'm doing. I'm chilling. Wow, I'm talking a lot. Just finished my shorts and looking around. It's a great, great day. It's a great day, guys. I know if some people weren't able to make money on this downturn, well, it would really, and I know it's like, hey, you pay $7 a month, but it is very, very helpful to know where those ranges are, to know NVIDIA's hitting the top range, the SPY's hitting the top range, the Q's hitting the top range, all at the same time, while you're seeing things that look like they need to roll back down. It's just very, very good. So highly encourage it, guys. The stuff that I actually put out there in the description, the course and the Patreon, I would not be putting it out there if it wasn't beneficial to you and I don't use it myself. Everything in the course that I teach you, I do myself. Everything on the Patreon, I use all of the things that are on Patreon as well. All the weekly ranges. So just think about it. It will really help you out. And if you're able to win on this move, if any of this info was helpful, awesome. Like the video. Look for the next trade setup. Trade like water. That's all I got to say. Good hype in the chat today. Good hype. That's what we like to see. Man, Amazon really went down towards that weekly expected move. That is crazy. And Raymond, thank you so much for joining the Patreon last night. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's what we like to see. Hopefully that was helpful for today. Then we have Robert Arredondo taking the course. That's awesome. I hope it's helpful, Robert. Hoping it's helpful. All right, now looking around, we just have to pay attention to everything we're seeing. All right, so Microsoft, I know really we shouldn't look at technicals on Microsoft. This is going to be an oopsie, but if you want to, not really an oopsie, I'm more just saying like, hey, earnings, 50-50 shot here. But if I would say this, if we're going to get that bounce narrative, you're probably going to need some good numbers from one of these companies tomorrow. But which one will it be? You got Google up here with triple divergence, kind of confirming at this point, but buying up above this level here. So maybe we look at a 30-minute, see if that's able to curl back up. You have possible double top, right? We didn't want to confirm that. We faked it out. Maybe the move is actually up. We'll have to see, but 1.51, 78.3733. This here, it's still, earnings is there. You can see it in my emotions, like I want to do something, but I've trained myself not to, so I don't even reach to go make a trade. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait till the direction is settled, and then I'll find my trade in the future. Solid. SMCI. Look at that thing. SMCI might make the second move higher here. That'd be cool. Is anyone out there trading SMCI today? SMCI is probably 15-minute by center line. Curls up. Got some little flagging here. Boom, boom. Yeah, that could head up. But once again, we have earnings tomorrow, so no fun to be had today. A, B, C. That could get you in this zone, and then we see that ripped away. Mara. Ooh, Mara's up there. Okay, Mara could hold up a little bit better. Interesting. What's Bitcoin been doing? Nobody's been asking about Bitcoin. Interesting. Let's see, 4 hour. There's your 4 hour beatdown. If we see a turnaround here, this would be solid. This would be solid for Bitcoin. That 4 hour is able to turn around. First, you need that 2 hour to go positive. So once this 2 hour goes positive, you can look at a 4 hour there. But it looks pretty good. Want to pay attention to anything we're seeing across the way here, but I think SPY, Qs, those are going to be the main ones to watch. We could see some kind of drop off throughout the day and then just see it totally reverse with a stronger base later on. Damn, I wish I saw that Amazon play, but that's all right. I don't think there was much trade structure here to take it at this point. Microsoft calls, you want me to fucking... My Microsoft calls, you want me to just throw fucking... Let me just throw $5,000 at it, see what happens. No, guys, don't do that. Trust me, don't do it. Just wait. If you want to do it, that's on you. That's on you. I hope you get lucky. Google and Microsoft. I hope you get lucky. Intel. I hope you get lucky. This one makes the most sense though, like really. I feel like this one makes the most sense. Like you got little 2-hour divergences daily that could roll up at that point. You got it's beat down for a long time, so the estimation is very, very low. Like this is one that I'd be like, all right, this one I'd be like, all right, if you want to try with this one, just don't use a bunch of money because you could get some kind of big reaction to like 40 and then just be done. Do it. No. No, guys. I'm writing a note right now. I'm literally writing this so I don't do it. Do not trade earnings. All right, it's written down. Do not trade earnings. No peer pressure. I literally wrote it down, guys. They really aren't. Nothing about Intel really looks pretty, but here's the thing. Stock market go up sometimes, you know? Did we go over the dailies for the SPY? Not really, actually. We can look at a daily on the SPY and just say this. You're below the 5 again. So here's what happened. Retest of the 20. You'd say retest of the 20. Now you're dropping below the 5. You're in negative territory. So the direction here is still pointing down. You're actually in a negative trend now on the daily. So the direction here, the force to the downside is still there. We just want to pay attention to that 30 minutes, see if that can buy back up. But wouldn't it be nice, right? We test bottom Bollinger again, and then we see some kind of reaction up. What would happen there? Well, you'd get some kind of small divergence on the RSI on the daily, and you'd get a 2-hour divergence down here, and it looks really good. It looks really good if that could happen. Trust me, take his advice. I lost 1K with earnings just recently. Lesson learned. There you go, Brian. Hey, at least you have the balls to come out and be like, look, I lost. I know where I went wrong. I traded around earnings. Now you know forever. I just wish everyone would listen to me sooner. You know, back in the day when I lost my $6,000 to $8,000 trading around earnings on Zillow. So trying to help you guys out. Trust me, I'm not trying to keep you from making money out there. I'm trying to help you learn how to make money in this market. And one of the ways to make money longer over time is to literally, you could turn off your computer during earnings time. You could turn it off. You could go have a good week to yourself. Try to make money in a different way. Maybe go garage sale, doing that whole, what's that dude's name? Doing the Gary V for a little bit or something. Maybe just focus on your work for a little bit longer, right? Focus on your work so we can make some more money to put in later, right? If you don't make money in the market for a week, what if you just went out and made $500? Okay, now you can put that into the market if you'd like. What if I'm like really, really sure? What if it's different this time? Dude, what if it's different this time? Bro, this earnings alone should tell you, like, don't fuck around and find out. Because look at this. Like, look at this Tesla. Tesla looks like it's gonna frickin' rip for, like, the next month. It does. But look at the earnings. Look at the earnings. It's so frickin' bad. It's so bad. And Tesla's gonna rip. Because they just said, we're going to make a car. We're going to make a cheap car. Stock go boom. All right, cool. What else? Meta. Well, Meta produces great numbers. But it's screwed. We spent too much money on AI chips or something. Okay. And then Netflix. Netflix producing fantastic numbers. But it's not going to show you subscribers anymore. Like it's just so awful, man. It's a time where you would just really like to sit back, watch the fireworks. Here's the thing that I'll tell you. Here's a good thing to pay attention to. If you wanted to sit out this entire time, you know what I would do if I wanted to sit out for like a month or so? I would sit out. I would see what happens over the next month. Maybe this ends up going like this. What if that happens? What if we do something like this on the MACD? And what if that confirms? And then you just go short up here. And then you're just like, all right, I'm going to hold that for 2 months. And then the stock market go down. You can take profit. That's actually what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about more doing a full position style trade for this next downturn. Car market is in the toilet, man. Cars, everything's kind of going in the toilet. You're seeing massive house decreases in price, right? You're seeing massive price reductions in the big cities as far as the pricing of homes. A lot of rental properties getting cut by 50, sometimes 100K. A lot of that stuff starts to happen right before something big. Spy 505 calls. All right, Mojoma. All right, Mojoma. I'm here for you. I want it. I want it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 505. I'm here for it. Let's do this. Let's go. All right. Just remember, you might want to get out of that position if you see this 5-minute curl back down. But hey, Aaron, what is up, Mr. Blackburn? I almost played. Wait, I think I said that before. I almost played for Blackburn in England. Well, and Jeff. Oh, how did Jeff Bob John? How did I not see that subscription? Did I already see that? Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, Blackburn Academy. Okay, Blackburn Academy. I was young. Expiring when? Yeah, true. Oh, true. Like today? You're in such a great mood today. I slept good. I slept good. I slept good. I made money. I drank coffee. The girls went to Abuela's, so I don't have to hear crying. I'm sorry if you guys are watching the stream, but it helps me focus, and I'm able to not be as tense. And then the other thing is, I think there's some great opportunities coming down the line, and that's why I'm in a good mood, and therefore I'm just like, hey, I want other people to be in a good mood. I want other people making money. That's why I'm like, get the court. It's 149. It will help you out, and so it's awesome. But I'm having a good day. I hope you guys are too. Down like 4.4%. Bro, I'm seeing a lot of cities like, what is it, like Orlando or something. They have like an average price reduction right now of like 11%. That's crazy. Yeah, me too, man. I love the vibe. Good vibes here, Sahan. Expiring Monday. Trump Town, love the bounce today. Good price top. All righty. Good little bounce. We'll see if we get that bounce. I'm down. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Oh, that's not good. Let's look at the Dow here. Hold on. What's this looking like on the daily? Oh, that is very not pretty. Oh, God. It's rejecting. Oh, God. All right. 2-hour crossing down. Negative territory. You can actually go deeper here. For the Dow, you can actually go a little bit deeper than, just right here. You can actually probably head all the way down towards this level here, 37,000. I'm down 0.6%. Any day I'm beating markets, I'm happy. Hey, that's good. Just saying, maybe wait on the house purchase. The one that I found is pretty much like I'm going to do a fixer-upper type thing. It's kind of like I'm not doing anything huge. I just wanted like a small little house, and it's something that I can fix up over time. It's actually like, it's pretty beat up, guys, but I really wanted, I don't know if it's dad mode. Maybe someone who's a dad can attest to this. When you become a dad, and then after a little while, like, I don't miss doing yard work or doing projects around the house, but for some reason, now that I'm a dad, I really want to do like projects. Like, I want to fix the floor. I want to like paint walls. I want to do the yard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting a house that allows me to do that, and it's going to be cheap as hell, so. The thing is about my city, people say like, oh, the crime's so bad. Girl, I lived in Atlanta now. I lived in Atlanta for a little bit. Anything to do in my city, ghetto is not ghetto, and I'm not even in there. We're just getting a house that it happened to be close to grandma as well, so I'm like, oh, sick, and I can fix stuff up over time, fix up the yard, and immediately get more value into the house. Pay like $90 a square foot or something like that. So $90 a square foot, I'll take. It's got great bones. Thanks for your daily insight. Anytime, J. Cole. I love your music, J. Cole. Kind of. I wouldn't mind moving to Georgia. Yeah, Georgia had some issues with us where we were at. It's just the housing market there was crap. Oh, and like, oh, Dave, you're talking about creative. We're excited because like they definitely neutraled the whole house for the sale, right? And we haven't gotten it yet. We haven't even put in an offer or anything, but they neutralize the whole house, so meaning like it's all just like, you know, maybe off-white, slightly off-white walls for the most part. And my wife, she's an artist, so we're gonna like maybe paint something real cool. We're nerds. We like anime and video games and all that kind of stuff. But and she's a nail tech. She's gonna go back to doing nails soon. I am in Amish country and it's awesome. Yeah, we have a big Amish population here. We actually buy our meat from an Amish population for the most part. Their meat is amazing. They treat their animals very well. That's what we like to see. I like anime. Yeah, it's your name, dude. It's very, very good. If you guys ever get the opportunity and you go through Kansas in any way, just get some good barbecue, man. Oh, Sahan. He's got to come in here and try to be gross, but then also spell meat wrong. Come on, man. All right. Don't tell my wife. Second dippy of the stream. Don't tell her. Juju Fuju? Yeah, Juju Fuju. I watched that for a little bit. Actually, I started watching that with like an ex-girlfriend, and so I don't watch that anymore. I never was that into it. I don't know why. This is going to sound childish, and you guys are going to think I'm a child if you watch anime. And also, Apple dropping off here. Let's just pay attention to signals for a second. Apple actually seeing that pulling back as of right now. So once we hit that weekly expected move, look at Apple. Maybe I should have taken this play, but I still have some. I think I sold out of half, so if that ends up playing out, that's fine. Vinegar or sweet? Little mixture of both. I'm kind of a left and right eater, you know what I'm saying? I have like maybe spicy and sweet is most of the time what I like, spicy and sweet, but if I can have anything that's kind of like gives me the I probably shouldn't do that on stream. Probably shouldn't do that on stream. Probably shouldn't. I don't know what barbecue I'm eating like this, by the way. I have no idea. But what I'm mainly saying here is I really like to have something that kind of... I like that contrast in my mouth. Oh, God, dude. I can't... We're not talking about barbecue anymore. All right, 30-minute, though. This could roll over for Apple. Let's get a little bit serious again, guys. All right. Let's see. What were we talking about? Well, let's see if this 5-minute can roll up, and then we'll see the next push down if that's going to happen. This is a safe place, or safe space. Is this Planet Fitness? That's where we're at. We're at Planet Fitness. Okay. Now we want to pay attention. If any of those 30 minutes are starting to roll up, ooh, Tesla, be careful. But hey, it could make that second move higher. I'm not going to try to, say it can't. 30-minute about to roll up for NVIDIA. Remember, crazy things can happen outside of this range, but 68% of the time we land back in it. So just be a little cautious here with NVIDIA on this upward push. If just really what I would pay attention to is a divergence by end of day forming up here. You do have that opportunity to drop off a little bit. I would say this too. If the SPY builds back up to this level and then we get bad news, maybe that 2-hour divergence comes a little bit later. I would just say that. Oh. Hey, great. I'm glad you like Atlanta. I just think for what we were going through, we were like, ugh. And you did it 2 years ago. We were trying to buy a house there like now. VIX Daily 50 and 20, 200 about to kiss. Let's see what volatility is looking like, though. Let's see what it's looking. Look at that dropping off pretty significantly. What could happen? This actually could go negative pretty fast. This might be the only big pop in volatility we get in this overall move. And maybe we just start going up from here. So I would just be paying attention to that. It really looks like, yeah, Apple's going to fade this move, but I might look for an entry to the upside here. I really might, because this could just curl down negative and then go up. So I'll be looking at Apple tomorrow for some kind of opportunity. Why? Because it's all the way until pretty much Friday, or pretty much Friday morning. So Thursday night, I can make a play on Apple until that earnings. So I want to see what the sentiment is. Right now, it's positive, right, on the 30 minutes. So if I see this curl down, curl back up, I can see a big move here. But we could just see this do something like this before earnings and then see a move. So not trying to trade around earnings. I'm trying to trade before earnings, right? But weekly expected move right there. see what Amazon ended up doing. Amazon, this was a great trade. And look at that 166.12. Look at that. We give you levels to watch, 166.12. Sure, it came a little bit above that, but my goodness, what a level to watch. NVIDIA, see that thing curl up? You're getting a green bar now. You're getting a green bar now. The funniest thing about Planet Fitness that I go to is right next to each other, they have two signs. One of them says, "No egos allowed." The other one says, "It is all about you." And I was like, no egos allowed. It's all about you. So it's you're not allowed to have an ego, but I am. And it's just that crazy. No offense if you are one. I don't hate on you at all, but that's some lefty shit there, and I'm okay with not being thinking that I'm the shit, and also thinking everyone else. Or I'm not going to think that I'm what's the most important. What's most important to me is my family. Like once you start actually, like there's a very good quote from, what was it, Good Will Hunting. Yeah, Planet Fitness isn't, but it's the only one close to me is the problem. I live kind of out there right now. That's why I'm moving. So now then I can go to a local gym by a buddy of mine. He owns one. They're rich as hell in this city. There was a quote I was watching from Good Will Hunting, and he talks about, he said to him, which really shifted it over. I know Good Will Hunting, great movie, but he said something about like, you don't know what real love is until you love something that isn't yourself, or something that is, you love something more than yourself. And I was like, okay, cool. So my family for me is the best motivator. And I encourage you guys to go out there, meet a nice girl, and get a family going. I really do. It will do a lot for your trading, actually. I mean, it will. It really puts things into perspective. It will cause you to be safer in the market and take the good setups. It's very, very cool. You want to shift your thinking to be like, oh, I'm doing this for money. Once you start doing something for your family, even something like trading, your perspective changes. I'm trying Trumptown. Okay, well, we got to get you on the Tind. We got to put you on the Bumb. We got to get you that girl. No, don't go to Tinder or Bumble. You want a good girl, meet her in real life, get rid of social media, and meet a nice woman. Me and her, we met through social media, but literally neither one of us really use it anymore. Like we barely, like I think I have a Facebook and I have like an Instagram for when I was trying to be a gaming streamer way back in the day, and I just barely do that. Are you going to raise your daughter like Ben Affleck? Well, he was Batman, and we do have Bruce Wayne in here. Bruce? Bruce, do you want to come say hi? Let's look at NVIDIA. Is it making that move up? Oh, rejection from this area. Not looking too good from that perspective. Meta, what are we doing? Well, we're climbing back up to test that 453. The NC beef barbecue, you have to have corn sticks and Brunswick stew. Okay, so I've been to North Carolina multiple times. I go to Raleigh. You grew up in Raleigh? I go to what's the little beach? There's like a big, like kind of a beach city that's like right by Raleigh. Oh shit, I don't know what it's called right now, but that's where I go all the time, and I love it there. It is fantastic. If you ever need a great vacation and you don't want like a ton of people around all the time, just pick a random weekend and go to, someone's got to tell me what the city is. I might even look it up. It's very, very awesome. God, if only Microsoft didn't have earnings. Atlantic Beach, that might be, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I think it kind of bordered south in North Carolina or something like that, but QQQs are dropping, yeah, so the momentum's shifting, but the momentum's already been down on the 2 hour. You just need to see, is the 30-minute momentum going to take over, and is that going to curl positive? That would stop the 2 hour. But if we see another drop here, that actually would cause some kind of 2 hour divergence down here. I'm pretty convinced if we get a 2 hour divergence down here that we're going to see some green over the next couple of weeks. I hope that, I mean, Marvin, that's not the most helpful, but these are what you want to pay attention to. 2 hour divergence confirming down here. Okay, upside. Okay, 30-minute upside going to come if I can curl back up and get back in these ranges, most likely. But according to these risk ranges, if we wanted to end back in this range by end of week, I think we do see further downside, and then we see a pop like this, and we end the week somewhere up towards that range. And then what that'll do for us is that'll make the next range go up to something like 438 next week. And I think 438 is maybe the better opportunity for some kind of bigger short, and then we see that fall down. This is where I'm really leaning towards that lower high. However we get there. Now, if we're not going to get a lower high, what does that mean? It means we're going to take back 438.28, and we're going to go to an all-time high if we take back 438.28 on the daily scale, in my opinion. Myrtle Beach. That's it. Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach was awesome. I woke up every single day. I got out of the beach house that we rented. I think it was like $1,500 for the entire week. It was awesome. And then I went outside. Me and my girl at the time, we would walk down to the snow cone place. We'd get snow cones in the middle, and like right as the sun was really starting to get hot outside, we would start to get some snow cones. We'd walk the beach with a snow cone, and then we'd go back. We'd eat tacos, and then I'd go home. I'd make margaritas for everyone, and we'd have a beach day. It was freaking awesome. So this is overall, though, I know I'm saying it over and over, but it's just so it ingrains in your head that you see it. 30-minute is buy positive territory. It's still right near the center. So if we see that turn up, be careful. That could be all the pullback we get here. If the 2-hour wants to roll over, I'm leaning more towards this happening, right? And then we get that lower high. We dip down to lower levels. Buy back towards 400 before earnings. And Microsoft can see a push from this level down here. You're seeing the momentum is dead. That's what this wick's telling you. It's like this is a very rapid move. And you have divergence down here. So what can you pay attention to? Well, the 30-minute actually, if you wanted an entry into this move, it's when the 30-minute crosses back up. The only problem here is this big E. You see this big E right here? That means that there's earnings. It doesn't mean ecstasy or anything like that. It actually means they have earnings, and even if they produce good numbers, they could say something bad, and that could be ripped away. So I'm not going to trade around it. Oh, check the dollar. We can see if the dollar is breaking out. That actually would help a lot, seeing that fade. So something with the dollar here, you wanted to see this after... I just burped. After hours, before open this morning, actually, we saw a divergence here, and now we see that big pop. So everything kind of lining up here. 4-hour, is that able to cross? Not yet. Not yet. So until we see that cross, you can't say big volatility coming in. We got to see this cross up and go back to positive. Before that happens, you want to look out because you could do something like this, some kind of little divergence or something. We could dip down to lower levels before we want to see that pop. I want to show you the daily scale as well. This thing actually did roll over, so positivity could be coming. I just want you to be very aware of that. You're in a time where things could go, like I know we say that a lot, we give you the way up and way down, but this is really a day where it's like the dollar's telling you like, yeah, I'm crossing down, so I could go down further, meaning there's buying up. But you're in a time right now where it looks like the SPY wants to roll back down, maybe get some lower pressure here, so... Will Google earnings affect the Apple price? It depends on what they actually say. Pretty much if these companies are starting to say like, oh, we're going through inflationary pressure, that would affect most of the stocks because that means they're going to kind of spread that sentiment throughout and say, oh, what if that affects my stock? I'm going to sell out of this. That's what I would say about that. Next time, North Carolina, Blackbeard had a home. Oh, when I went to North Carolina, we went to this part of the beach that no one goes to for some reason, and we saw stingrays this big right in front of us. Literally, it swam right in front of me like this, like literally right here. I could have reached down and touched it, but I was like, I didn't want to get Steve Irwin or something. But yeah, huge, huge ones like this big. Can't see, but can't see my arms here. Oh, I'm wrong way. Like. Probably like this big. You know, like a medicine ball? Like a size of a medicine ball? They're so cool. That's why no one goes to that part of the beach. I don't give a shit, dude. Yo, I was a little dangerous kid back in the day. I used to do some crazy stuff, man. I've jumped off of buildings. I've jumped off of those huge cliffs that you see at the lakes and stuff like that, like 60, 70 footers. I love that stuff, but now that my shoulders, I've dislocated both shoulders, so thank you, soccer. I've dislocated both shoulders now. This one was more of a shift than a full dislocation. This one's dislocated like 6 times now. All right, let's see if the second push is going to come. I think the 5-minute will be telling. I think the 5-minute just kind of lingers for a while here, and then we see the next drop. I think you're going to get a little bit of a fight. Look at this, starting to flag out. Thank you so much, Bobster Showtime. Welcome to the show, Bobster. Thank you so much for joining. It was soccer that ended up beating you up, not cliff jumping. Yes. Yes. Man, I can't wait. Hopefully I'm able to buy a lake house at Table Rock or Ozarks or something, but I really want Table Rock because I know this section of Table Rock. That's where the inflow of the water comes in, and it's really cold, like no matter what time of year it is. I haven't surfed because I'm like the furthest away from surfing you can get. I'm literally in Kansas. That's I love it here. I do love it, actually. I've grown to love it. But as far as surfing goes, not the best surf city. Not the best surf state. Yeah. Kind of on an island surrounded by land, actually. But the lakes are awesome. I was able to get up on some water skis on my first try and things like that. And we're just chatting about random stuff because we're waiting for the next move. We're waiting for the next move. If anyone sees anything going on out there, please mention it so I can click around. I just want to see if the SPY is able to build up over time this morning so we can see if there's another move down before I get off. Full of excuses. Hey, I'll go surfing. I'm very, very scared of sharks. And I know that that's crazy and why I don't like, that's my fear. My one biggest fear actually is open water. Oh, I've been to a wave pool, yeah. But open water scares the out of me when I can't see stuff. Yields, uh-oh. Yields are screaming. So what's TLT telling us? What's TLT telling us? Let's look at a shorter time frame here, 2 hour. Okay, 2 hour divergence right here, pretty steep for TLT. So TLT, there might be a play to be had here. Remember, those yields could top out at any time. We do get more data tomorrow, so let's be cautious with that. Let's go look at that data, actually. Oh, AMD's positive as well. Let's see AMD as well, but I'm going to look at TLT in a second here. So that actually curling up. So this is where you look at the 30-minute. Is that going to curl up and go positive? You could see a break of trend here. We actually could start trending up for AMD. TLT, though, looks like there may be an opportunity at this price point. I just want to point that out. On the 2 hour here, you do have this divergence that could confirm first. I would really wait for that confirmation. But as you see these yields screaming higher, we probably want to pull up a daily and just see, hey, well, this thing has been going up for quite some time. It could just continue. By the way, we get more data tomorrow. So we are going to go ahead and pull up that data real quick. I'm going to pull up that data. Since we're being patient, let's look at this data real quick. Okay, so GDP growth rate coming in at 1.6%. That is below all of this. So that is going to be seen as a slowing down in growth. That is actually, and even though you're getting this, you are getting a positive print that might be causing the yields to go up, and the initial jobless claims coming down. That will cause those yields to go up, but because you're getting a positive print and you get this to go down, it's not looking the best. Okay, it's not looking the best. For the yields to come down at this point. So let's see the data for tomorrow. Could this actually be a surprise? Well, income, okay, core PCE, supposed to come in at 0.3 again. Okay, personal income, supposed to come in a little bit higher. Personal spending, supposed to come in higher than personal income. So if you get this reading, this personal spending to come down, personal income to go, stay up or even come in at consensus, but personal spending to go down, and then core PCE to actually come down on this reading, that would be a good sign tomorrow. But I really think the big event that could actually bounce us isn't PMI, isn't any of this stuff. I think it's this right here, the Fed interest rate next Wednesday. This mixed with May 2nd. So you have May 2nd, you have non-farm payrolls and unemployment and ISM services PMI. The thing about that, why May 2nd is very important, is because of this guy right here. This guy right here, it's going to be very important because May 2nd, what do we get? Apple earnings. So if I see this happening right now, the momentum trying to tell me, hey, I can go up from here. Apple's saying we're going to bounce according to the momentum. So if we're ignoring all the other stocks that have earnings and stuff, what's Apple saying? Apple's an important stock. It's saying, hey, I want to shift. I want to maybe go into a positive trend. So this would be where an opportunity is, but you're looking for an entry. So what would be a good entry? Well, if I get a 2-hour divergence down here before, hey, maybe that's an entry I could take. And then if I'm going to hold it through earnings, I just want to make sure to have stops in place. I just want to make sure. Because right now we're seeing things rip down. This could prove to be some kind of bigger downturn, which is what I'm really leaning towards as we are flagging at this moment. And I'm just looking for that second push down on the 5-minute here for the SPY. Let's see if things are getting a little expensive out there. 0 DTE. What, you want to go short anytime on this? It's going to cost you $174. I'll hold that into tomorrow. 250. That's not too bad, actually. It's not horrible. Amazon's starting to make another push lower. And even something like Amazon, you still want structure on the shorter time frames as well. What if the 5-minute does this again? Well, then you have a 5-minute divergence outside of those expected moves. And Amazon has a little bit of time until its earnings. Just a little bit, right? It has till Tuesday. So there is a play to be had here. Getting a big reaction down before that earnings means, hey, good price point. Maybe this builds up before then. We'll have to see. AMD positive, Meta going down again. This one here, NVIDIA, we need to pay attention to any crossing. Look at that. It's not fully crossed. That's why you want to wait the entire bar most of the time, just because that could fade at any moment. Just don't know it's lurking below you. Exactly. And one time when I went to the lake, I had those little fish that like eat, like they like touch your feet. They like go like this to your feet. It scared the out of me. And dude, now Tesla wants to be bullish. Well, Tesla wants to be bullish because it's got some signals here, but I would be cautious. 5-minute divergence, you're going to get a 15-minute divergence here as well. This is a time where it's like, hey, we could see some kind of pullback from Tesla going on into tomorrow. And then we just want to see what the reaction is next week. So this is why I'm kind of sitting on my hands. I'm not really trying to play much. I'm just saying Apple's one that I'm watching for the move down, because this move down could then prove to a move up later on. Now, what I think happens with Apple, which would be really, really nice for a trade setup based on the risk to reward. Apple before earnings looks like an okay risk to reward. Apple's a good stock. So what could be happening here? Well, what if that 30-minute rolls down? And what if this 2-hour rolls down before earnings? And then maybe next week we get those ranges, and then it does something like this tomorrow, and then it does something like this next week, gets outside of that range. We get a little divergence down here outside the range. Everyone's banking on Apple being bad news. I can look at Max Payne and things like that as well. And then it sets up this for me. This down here on the MACD. This would be very, very nice. Just something like this. Boom. Because this would be nice. Why? Because you have a daily divergence as well. Confirming as of now. That could like unconfirm and then confirm back. So that's why I'm looking for an entry point into Apple at this point. Everyone's kind of bearish on this. It's gotten bad news after bad news. What if it produces some kind of positive news, even with a bad print like we've been seeing? Y'all watch too much Shark Week and movies. It's not necessarily that. It's the unknown. It's not sharks. Like, I'm not in a dark pool going like, oh, there's a shark in here. Weirdly enough, that crosses my brain. But it's more about just not knowing what could be there. But yeah, Tesla does want to be bullish. You look at the daily signals here, you're seeing triple divergence. So the fact of the matter is Tesla now is done with earnings, and you're seeing this confirm. It is a sign that Tesla wants to head higher. But I would just look for a little bit of a pullback on the shorter time frames first, as you are seeing a 15-minute divergence form up here. I would really like this 30-minute to roll down first, which I think happens. I think we still get some rolling down, and then maybe at the end of expiration on Friday tomorrow, then I'll be paying attention for some upswing, see if there's any kind of entry points. But I think Apple's got a good shot to digest here, and whether it wants to hold up at this level and cross up, I can take that play. Whether it goes down like this, I can see if the divergence is there and then take this play. I can be a little confident taking some kind of divergence play or some kind of swing up because of that daily momentum trying to shift back to the upside. All right, here's the thing. Even though I'm scared of the unknown, when I go in the ocean, I'm like, I can't see anything, blah, blah, blah. I still go do it. I'm not one of those people that like doesn't do it. I'm scared while doing it, but I'm one of the guys that still, I don't give a I go to where the sand falls off and you're literally treading water in the ocean and you're just chilling there. Oh yeah, let's go talk about TLT from this perspective, by the way. 2 hour right here. Maybe we want to look at some ranges or something like that for TLT. I keep like not thinking about this. South side is weekly range as of right now, so really the direction here would be to the upside for TLT. This is one that like, hey, well, maybe this is one taking something on if the price is good. If the price is good and I can hold it for a month or so, that's what I'd be really paying attention to. If I could take this even for a few weeks. What's the date today? The 26th will be tomorrow. So you might say, I mean, this likelihood here of bouncing is pretty good. I got a steep 2 hour divergence. I wait for that to confirm and then I react. That's what's going on here from my side of things. I think a reaction here would make sense. So we'll get that set up if that actually plays out. What can I look for? Well, the 30-minute gives me a little divergence too. So if this confirms at any point, I probably could head up. Maybe I want to look for an even smaller one. Look at that little divergence here, 15-minute. So if this 15-minute, if I can buy up, get above this price point of about 88.50, I'd be pretty confident that this is going to turn around over time. Just want to pay attention to that going forward, but maybe something geopolitical is what happens. Maybe we see a full flush. Maybe we see people rotate into TLT. All of those types of things can happen. But that's the only one that I see that looks like okay to take going forward. But I'm still going to wait for confirmations on that, not trying to catch anything as volatility starting to scale up and the yields just going nuts up in this area. Want to see if there's anything hinting here. Nothing really hinting on that. 4 hour looks like the 2 hour to me. Another point of divergence could be forming at this high. So not the worst place in the world to try something, but these yields can just keep going higher. We get data tomorrow. So let's look at that data first. Can the 4 hour curl up for the VIX? That's going to be a huge, huge sign. All right, let's see what you guys are chatting about. Microsoft and Google, they will affect the market. Right now, if you wanted to say anything about those earnings, it really depends on the price action from today. Looking at the 2 hour, wants to curl over, negative territories there. Is the 5 minute going to curl down again? It really looks like it at this point. But remember, we could flag out for a long time here. So just be patient with it. Just to get the blood flowing. Microsoft, Amazon, or Google. The thing is, it's kind of like one of them they could all have bad earnings and just say something good. That's what's been happening right now. So be cautious with any kind of earnings. Like I said, I'm not trading any stuff. Oh, sorry, I just shook my whole computer. I cannot wait to get a new desk. I cannot wait. But yeah, just be careful with it. It's just it's just a time where it's like, these people are announcing things that are happening in the future or announcing things that are bad in the future or whatever. So a lot of that stuff can affect the price of the stock. Palo Alto, this one here, been struggling for a long time. Now, our zone here was very good. Look how this zone has been reacting. It's very, very good in this liquidity. So if you break down through that level, you'd say bad stuff is going to happen. If you break up through that level, hey, well, we could see some more positivity. So at this point, what would you say from this? Well, what if we have head and shoulders going on, right? This is a very important level. What if this is going to do this, this, and this? The only down part to this is, what if I just take a line and go kind of across like this? It's not going to be the best, but what if I just go across like this, and then I clone that bad boy? And then I say this could be some kind of flagging. Okay, so this could be flagging at this point, and you could break down. So if you're going to break to the upside, boom, you're going to want to break through this price point here of 293.59 to the upside. Okay, that would convince me, hey, maybe this does have an upward move. Maybe it's a small upward move. If this wants to curl down right now, well, how would we break down? Well, look at this right here. So if we wanted to break down, I'm expecting this to be happening, and then we see that breakdown, and now we head to lower levels into this zone. I'm going to spread that zone out, by the way. So there's a way up and there's a way down, and you just have to react. Microsoft likely to go up. I'm leaning towards it, but it doesn't mean I know what's going on. I'm one of those guys who's not going to tell you, hey, pay attention to the technicals here, because the technicals are getting almost every single earnings wrong, which can happen around earnings. And that's why I just highly encourage you to just be patient. Think about it this way. If you're patient this week and you see a great trade next week, and imagine you lose all your account this week, and then next week you see a great trade set up and then that works out, it's going to piss you off. So just sit on the back burner for a sec, look for the perfect trade. A perfect trade would not include earnings at this point. Hey, it very well could, and I'm not saying it can't. We could see further downside. We could. But is it going to be bad enough news to really shift everything down? We'll have to find out. 5 minute. This bad boy probably going to bounce again here. We're probably going to keep flagging for a little bit. If it dropped again here, that'd be interesting. Exactly, Kalani. It's 50-50. Which way, hey, you know, people come in and they go, which way could the Microsoft earnings go? And I'm like, well, it could go, you know, bad or good. That's all you can say. Look at Meta up so much, expected profit taking, Meta tanks. Meta did tank, right? But it produced great numbers. Netflix tanked, it produced great numbers. Tesla bounced and it produced horrible numbers. So what's going to happen next? If that's not enough to convince you, like, hey, do you trade options or regular position? Tony, I mix between the two. I have a long-term play on TLT where I just invested, and then I have short-term plays as well. But as of right now, I have like one short. I already took profit on my volatility play, so I have one short out there right now. I'm thinking we bounce. I'm thinking we bounce after some kind of downturn here. I'm thinking a 2-hour divergence sets up and we start to curl up. And then we possibly even go to a new all-time high with this next push. I want to be very clear about that. But in order to see that, I'm going to need the Qs to get above 438. But I think what happens here is, as we see this fade, right, we can see this happen. As we see this rebound start to fade a little, we can see something like this happen, get into this zone. This zone's very, very good. Can't go up forever. That's very, very true. But I'm just telling you what I see in front of me, right? I know we can't go up forever. I know this is a downtrend, and I will play it accordingly. So what does that mean? Well, if I see a divergence down here and we get some kind of pop like this, and then we curl back down again, all right, well, what if this starts to set up over time? Head and shoulders, right? We can think into the future and then just react on what happens. Right now, the reaction was, we had divergence up here. We had a lot of stuff up here that was telling us it needs to go down. NVIDIA even gave you a 15-minute in that area. So we're expecting a pullback. Now, what did we say to pay attention to about NVIDIA? 30-minute able to cross into positive territory. Is that happening right now? Not just yet, right? This is a rejection level. This is where that weekly move is, which just convinces me even a little bit more that maybe it wants to head down towards 760. This is just a correction phase, not a downtrend. It's a downtrend on the shorter time frames. Now, corrective phase, it is still an uptrend technically on the daily scale, but as of right now, you are in negative territory, so this is considered a negative trend. You're in negative territory, therefore this is a negative trend. Now, if this just curls right back up, you're at a point where if you just curl back up, yeah, then it's positive again. But if you just wait till that happens, that's when the big move comes. Remember a few days ago I talked about NVIDIA hitting 1,000? I actually think that's possible now. Exactly. I think this, something like this, dipping down to this level, even going and filling that gap would convince people, hey, I need to get out of NVIDIA. And then that's when people actually, the smart money maybe starts to invest again. I'm just saying I'm watching everything, and it really looks like 2 hours what to pay attention to on the overall market, because this would make a lot of sense. We come down to this area here, and then we bounce. This would make so much sense. And then we do something like this. Now, from this area, what makes sense? Well, what if we're still in that corrective phase? And we do something like this. Then around here, what if we're testing that 200? And then this is where that big push happens somewhere in the summer. Now, am I leaning towards that? No, I actually think we're going to see a sell in May and go away. I think it's going to do this. Then we maybe actually see a new all-time high. But I'm still looking for that that lower high at this point. So if this lower high doesn't come, Qs take back 438. You can see how important that was. All right, 438.28 is what I'm paying attention to. I think if we're able to get back above that and hold, it will be a good sign for further upside. So this is a good time. We're reaching the end of the month. So this is going to be a great time to join the Patreon because we're going to give you these monthly expected moves updated next week. So this is a good time to join the Patreon. And if you want to learn about these, well, it's good to pay attention to the course. That's only $149 for the next 10 days. Possibly short Microsoft. Anytime, I'm going to do this for today. Anytime anyone mentions some kind of play on something with earnings, I'm going to keep saying, I don't know. I'm not going to do any technicals on this for the most part, just because the technicals are going to tell you that Microsoft's going to go up here. Okay, the technicals are telling you that Microsoft goes up. If you want to do it, great. But notice how vigorous the earnings have been. Pretty much, you're going to say, hey, if you're going to take a play on this, I wouldn't even use more than $500. I literally wouldn't use more than $500 because that's all I'm willing to lose. So you better be using an amount that you are willing to just lose everything. I think if anything moves Bitcoin, I think it moves it before that event. If I had one technical indicator, do I still get to draw? Do I still get to draw and stuff like that? Do I still get to draw my trend lines? Here comes the bull again. We'll see. We'll see, right? We're flipping back and forth. We trade like water. If this shows me a bullish signal, in my opinion, then I will talk bullish. Do I get to draw trend lines and that kind of thing? That's the big thing. Sellerific. Yes. Okay, then I would say MACD. You know what I would do if I only had one indicator? If I only had one indicator and I could draw my lines, I would be the most patient trader. I would look for triple divergences on 30-minute charts if volatility is high. If volatility is low, I'm looking, or if volatility is high as well, I'm looking for triple divergence on the 30-minute. I'm looking for 2-hour divergences, and that's all I would play. And I'd have a stop in place. That's all I would play. If I was treating it like a trader instead of a or treating it like an investor instead of a trader, I would use daily and weekly MACDs, and I would just buy and sell based on those and take profit when I know there's good profit levels to take. And I would use the other ones to figure out where to buy that investment. That way I'm not overexposed with options. Since I don't have another thing to give me a reason to take a trade, I'd want to maybe not use the leverage, right? So I'd maybe do it as an investor and kind of just trade it that way instead of doing options. Use different ones so you can go back and forth. No, he's saying if I could only have one. I wanted to spy to touch the low before this pump. This might be a pump, but just like we haven't done anything crazy, guys. We're still just moving sideways. We're still just moving sideways. I think yeah, we might see a little bit of a bounce here, right? But what can we start to form here? Well, we can do this. We can start to go like that. And if this is going to be the direction we're going, what do? Maybe I take the point where we opened. Okay, if we stay in this, then we can start to head lower. Now, how could we head lower? Well, if we bounce up to something like this, then we break through, then we retest, then we come down. Boom, boom, boom. That's the micro structure. You guys ever watch this? There's a guy who does he does like 30-minute chart strategy, and I don't take a lot from him because we're just different, but I love listening to him because he talks like this. He's like, you gotta look for the microstructure. and I love it. I haven't watched him in a minute. I need to give him a view. He's worth it. He's so funny. The way he does it is so funny. I wanted to open another account. Do you know a platform that does not require a minimum amount to day trade options? I don't know. I haven't gone through that problem. I'm sure someone in the chat, does anyone in the chat know of a platform that you personally use that doesn't have the $25,000 requirement? Come, let us make some good profits today. I like that guy. Why? Because he uses 30-minute charts. That's the only reason I watch him. You have the British guy GPS voice. You got more turn left up here, governor. No, that's just racism right there. Yeah, E-Trade. Okay, there you go. So JS is saying E-Trade. So maybe check out E-Trade, maybe read about it for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for smashing that like button. I know you're sitting there and you're going, I haven't hit the like button yet. And he just thanked everyone for liking or hitting the like button. Shoot. I haven't liked it yet. Should I like it? I don't know. If I like it, then I have to have it in my history. I have to have it in my liked videos. Oh, man. Shoot. Only takes $100 to get in. There you go. And then, oh yeah, Robinhood, obviously cash accounts. Cash accounts. The only thing with cash accounts is I'm pretty sure, like, if you want to use full amounts in the cash account, like, it takes 3 days to transfer back over after you sell. But hey, your boy used to deal with cash accounts, right? So, like, everyone started somewhere. Let's go look at gold. I know that's weird, but that's a very weird transition. But I'm interested if gold's going to turn up here. Uh-oh. SMCI can turn your $100 into $5,000 with just this one tip. No. Look at this trade, though. What a good trade. Gosh, I gotta go high five myself in the mirror or something like that. I'm going to see. Got burned on SMCI. Let's look at SMCI for fun right now. Also, Bitcoin kind of rotating down here pretty well. 4 hour maybe able to cross over. Yep, going negative at this point. So further downside could be likely here. But what if we set up a divergence down here? That's what I'm kind of open to in the stock market. So we just want to see what this 5 minutes do. And let's just keep it on the 5 minute here for the SPY. But SMCI, actually, that's what I wanted to look at. SMCI. Seeing this thing curl up, 30 minute, gonna pay attention to that. It's going positive at this point. So this is that next roll up. That's kind of confirming upside. If it can go positive, the problem is you're not able to break out of this zone right now. So just be cautious of the 2 hour, as this could just roll back down, give you a slight divergence. I'd feel more comfortable with that, especially before something like earnings. I really would be more comfortable with something to give me a reason to take the trade at this point. Sure, you have that 30 minute that's rolling up, but you're still in those zones. It's just a sketchy one. Pre-tax cash accounts. I just have to deal with needing to have an LLC wash sales capital gains tax. Yeah, all that stuff really does add up. Really does. Tax season kind of sucks for me, I'm not going to lie. Tax season's a bummer. That's why I need to go get me some expenses. I don't have enough expenses right now. I've really gotten myself to the point where I'm like good. Like I'm good across the board. Almost no debt. And now I'm like, I need some debt so I can write off some of this stuff. Thoughts on Palantir? We can look at that. So if I buy a house, I might be taking out a HELOC. 30-minute curls up, positive territory. Palantir most likely makes another upward move. I'd just be a little cautious. We have a lot of 2 hours that could be rolling over into negative territory here. Remember, we were talking about this 2029. We could react down to that actually and touch that. My opinion on gold, I think there's potential for an upward push if the 2 hour can cross up, Mark. Just pull up a 2 hour real quick, and you're going to see, I'm on a 2 hour right now, so I can click on it real quick. Sorry about that, Mark, but 2 hour curls up. You're going to go positive here. I think you got a good shot to fill that gap, and then you're pretty much in a channel. So do you see the channel that's formed here? So what could happen from this level here? Well, we could go to the top of the channel, but you could see some kind of reaction up like this. I would just pay attention to any kind of divergence crossing down into negative territory up in this area. I think gold's got a good push left in it. I would be surprised if gold just went sideways and broke down from here. I think it's got one more push to fill the gap, and then maybe that's game over. So I'd pay attention to if the 2 hour does roll up and then rolls back down and goes negative. I think that's your telling sign that it's going further down. But as of right now, positive trend could go back into a positive trend. My apologies. But this thing's been bullish for quite some time. The last time we were near that center line, curled back up. The last time we were below that center line, curled up, went positive. So I think that could happen again for gold. But just because I think doesn't mean I know yet, right? We got to flip it into I know, which means, hey, an upward move can come if this wants to roll up into positive territory. Why is Tesla up? Because they announced they are going to make some kind of, what's it called? Some kind of more affordable EV, but that is in the future. They're saying they're fast laning it a little bit more. And then the other thing was AI chips. So I think they even mentioned NVIDIA specifically about AI chips. So pretty much classic Elon move, produces terrible numbers and just says something that makes stock go up. Hope you're all having a great day. Love it, Ultimate Golden Girl. Thank you so much for wishing us to have a good morning and a great day. It can do trading soon. Yeah. Soon your Tesla will be able to trade for you with an AI-powered... Oh my god. Felony on pump and dump. Hey, pump and dump, but right now, whether he did it and it's sketchy or not, you got triple divergence on a daily MACD here. Not saying a pullback can happen before that explodes higher, but Tesla telling you it's about to rip. Where could it rip to? I think it's going to struggle right in this area. So if it's going to struggle here, well, what's the structure if we're going to see this over time? Look at this left shoulder. Look at this base up here. What if we do something like this? See that selling come in. See that selling come in, and then we do that again, and we see another upward push at the end of summer, and we actually go up and up and up, and then the real crash is in October like we originally predicted. It's funny how things change back and forth, isn't it? Now, here's that weekly expected move. So what do you have at that weekly expected move? I got a 15-minute divergence forming, so I'd just be cautious with Tesla as of right now. But am I going to take puts on this? No. Why am I not going to take shorts on this? Well, because it crossed up on the daily MACD. I'm not going to fight against any of that momentum going on there. I mean, it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst idea maybe going into tomorrow. It's not the worst to just say, hey, this needs to pull back further. It definitely does. Okay, so, but it's giving you a left shoulder at this point, right? This is a clean left shoulder if it is one. Now, this is also cup, handle. Maybe we go higher, but if this wanted to do something like this, that would be fantastic. That would look great for some structure. Then you get in the move that daily takes over. You can hold that for a little bit of time. That's a position I would hold for probably a month. Tesla's the biggest BS move, and I just hope it burns to the ground coming week or two. See, I told you guys, I knew this would piss people off. I said that in my video. I was like, this is going to piss people off. Fast tracking industrial production. Can't see any delays there. Didn't they say that about the Cybertruck a long, long time ago? And then he threw a brick into a window and... I'm not saying Tesla's bad by any means, by the way. I'm not thinking like, oh, this stock's terrible. I'm just like, I don't think this move is justified by just saying, hey, we're going to do something in the future. Have you done it yet? No. So the reality is this hasn't even happened yet. AKA, this could just be some kind of, buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. But if it goes all the way up while that rumor's still going, how do you know when the momentum dies out? When you see the confirmations of a lot of stuff here. So what you're looking for with and you can see different momentums on different time frames. So right now on the 15-minute, what are we? Well, there's a few reasons that the momentum is dying out here. Well, the one thing would be, first of all, you just notice we are overbought, right? We're very high up on this MACD, right? You can see we haven't been up at this level in a long time. So what could happen from here? Well, we're setting up a divergence at this level, and it's pretty steep. You see how steep that is? So that's telling me the momentum here most likely is going to die out. Hasn't died out just yet, but now you're seeing like not necessarily a big push like this vertical and then base out and then go vertical again. So that tells me, what are we doing? We're most likely tapering on the upside, which just tells me, what if I get a divergence up here? I see it. Okay, so if this confirms down, that's when you know, okay, the momentum is slightly dying out on a 15-minute chart. And then you could say if that goes negative, then the momentum's about to shift to negative. So what would that mean? Well, if this shifts to negative, that means more downside is coming, and now I have potential for a negative downtrend on the 15-minute, maybe to go and fill this gap in the future, right around here. So if I didn't want this to go down, we can look at a different chart. This chart is going to help us a lot. The 30-minute has not died off in momentum just yet, but you see there is a slight divergence on the RSI. If that can start to point down, that's a good sign the momentum's dying out. Then this is a bullish move. What if we just turn down like this and curl back up? This would be a better entry than this right here, even though it's the same price point. A lot of time can beat you up on that option, and then you get into this move here. Now you have a new weekly range, so you can play that weekly range. All those types of things are great to do. I hope that was able to help, Quandale. If you need more clarification, my course is on sale right now. It's $149 for the next 10 days. And I know last time I did a sale or something like that, it's like no one was wanting to get it for that. And then once it came down to like, hey, there's literally like 3 days left, then everyone was like, boom, 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 boom. I'm just encouraging you, if you're able to do it earlier. It will help you out through this type of behavior. Even with earnings and things like that, you can pay attention to how other stocks are reacting around earnings and pay attention to the macro side of things and know like, hey, yeah, there's very good likelihood for a bounce here. So we want to pay attention 5-minute, right? 5-minute on the SPY. This is stuff you can pay attention to. Pretty much what we're looking for right now in the SPY is the type of stuff you're going to learn in the course. You're going to learn about the support that's in this level. You're going to learn about the fact that we're below the 200. You're going to learn about divergences. You're going to learn about the probabilities here, why these are important, why this purple line's important, why these red lines are important. You're going to learn all of that stuff in the course. So I'm looking for this 5-minute to roll back down into negative territory. Why? Negative trend. You learn that in the course. There's tons of learning that goes on there. I could see another reaction up and still be like, well, people will think, oh, this is it. I know it's flagging right now. So even if I see that reaction up, this is how I think it would break down. Hope that helps, though. The reason it could be is, I mean, CPE, I think it's choppy because we've gotten so much confusion with these earnings. I think that's why you're getting some chop in here. It's because like places, you're producing good numbers, but getting a negative result at the end of the day from some kind of, thing that's being said. And Mark, thank you so much for shouting out the course, calling it excellent. I really appreciate that, Mark. And so because you're seeing good numbers followed by a bad statement, bad numbers followed by a good statement, there's a lot of confusion that can go on here. That's why I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna, nope, I'm chilling. I have one small short position. That's it. I'm chilling. I am chilling. I am not trying to do anything like this. I already made 85% on my volatility play on that. I used a small amount. These are times where we can see big swings, so I don't have to risk as much money. And I just go, okay, cool, I made my money. Good to go. Same thing goes for the Qs here, right? We have some kind of thing going on here. What's happening? Well, we could be getting some kind of bigger flag on the Qs, but right now, just paying attention if this 5-minute rolls down, most likely we are heading towards these lows down here. Oh my gosh, just imagine we get a like 15-minute divergence in this right here. We have the 2-hour divergence across. It's going to look pretty and everyone's going to be scared we're crashing again. And then we're going to be like, hey, I might take a call here. Better odds to buy or sell a call, Tesla going up. I would at this point, I think you say, if you're wanting to say this pullback is going to happen with this 15-minute divergence, you would sell a call. If you wanted to buy a call, I think you want to be patient and wait for this to curl back up on the 30-minute. I think if you're patient on this, I think Tesla has a bigger move coming than even what it did with its earnings. And I think it's going to dip lower and people will be convinced it's going down again and then it turns back up. Microsoft looking like an afternoon run. Microsoft did have the structure there, right? You have the divergence, you have all that good stuff. Sorry, I'm yawning. It has the, well, not really the structure, right? There's not really the good structure here, but you do have a 2-hour divergence on the RSI if you're able to get that thing to turn back up. And you can notice this. Maybe we want to look at an hourly or something that might be a little cleaner. You see the hourly, how you have the divergence down here. If that can turn back up, it'd be a good sign. The only problem is you have earnings, so I don't know what they're going to produce, and therefore I won't be trading around Microsoft. Google giving you a similar thing. Big divergence here, probably on a 1 hour, a 30-minute. If that can curl back up, you technically have a divergence that's ending up in positive territory, so good chance for positivity here. But problem here, earnings, so we don't know which way that thing could go. Oh, that's Ricola. I was about to sing that theme song. Apple, this is where I'm really paying attention. If you wanted to look, I mean, it's on the hourly. You know I like my 2 hours for that further confirmation after a 30-minute or something. I think this has a good shot to happen. We'll see if that downward pressure can come. Now, here's something cool. So if I think Apple's going to make some kind of move like this to create a divergence or something, right, that 30-minute just trickling up, maybe it curls down. Well, if this happens and we turn down, but the SPY starts to make that divergence and start to confirm it before Apple can head lower to this low, like let's say it's confirming that divergence here and we start to bounce, this is where I'll say, okay, Apple's not going to go down and make that divergence. But as of right now, it really looks like it's going to. What can I do to figure out, hey, where could that divergence take me? Well, let me just see where we tapered last time. Okay, a touch of this point here would be very, very good, right? I'm always drawing my ideas. I have a point to pay attention to. If we hold up above this, okay, double bottom. If we want to go lower, this area here would be good. Look for that reversal. Maybe shorter time frames is what we'll pay attention to, like a little 5-minute divergence or something like that for an entry, and then, or a 15-minute. Then you get that entry, see that confirm on the 2 hour, see that confirm on the daily with that divergence on the daily that Apple does have, and then you could say, okay, this is going to have a strong run. But the only problem here is earnings is right around the corner, so just be cautious with that. Look at the yields. Are they still booming? Yields are starting to drop off a little bit, so this is where, you know, TLT could get that bounce. It's got a 2-hour divergence down here now. We could see some kind of turnaround. What does that mean? The daily can turn around from here. So the daily's been beat up for a long time. We could see some kind of turnaround. Now we are in a channel, so once we get up towards this area of 9160, if we are able to get there very quickly, just be a little cautious. We'll look for some signals in there and pay attention to that Fed interest rate decision, because that's going to be huge. I just burped. The dollar, I don't know why I'm burping so much. The dollar, really just paying attention if this 4-hour can turn up. If this 4-hour can turn up, we're going to see some negativity in the overall market. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. Okay, I'm going to use the restroom, get some coffee and all that good stuff. So chat amongst yourselves, have a little chat going back and forth, all right? And pay attention to all the signals out there so I can react to something when I come back, all right? 15-minute here. Let's look at this. So it looks like volatility might back off here a little bit. We'll have to see what happens with that. But I'm going to leave you guys on the SPY on a 5-minute. I think this is a very, very telling chart here that we could get some kind of reaction up and then see that start to fade back down. So just pay attention to this right here. And the only way that you need to pay attention if you're going to see upside again is if that 30-minute crosses. So I'm going to leave you guys on the 5-minute. I will be right back in about 2 to 5 minutes. And we're back. See, that was quick. We're already back in action. It looks like we're getting a little bit more of a bounce here, something that is perfectly fine, something we expect to happen. It's not too bad, right? We want to get a bounce in this area. We want this to build up liquidity to make another move down lower if that move is going to come. Now, if that move's not going to come, all we got to do is 30-minute. We got to see this 30-minute curl back up, and we're going to get rid of this. But as of right now, I think this is pretty important to pay attention to the Qs as well. Seeing that roll over again would be the negative sentiment that we see. But we'll go from here. Remember, this is still head and shoulders in play. We haven't taken out the head, so we do have head and shoulders on the bigger time frames that could play out, and maybe we don't go make that divergence. So pay attention to the 30-minute as well throughout the day today. Where are the Qs going today? Well, if you wanted to say if they could go higher, they could react up, maybe get some resistance up towards 423.25. But I think by the time of sometime tomorrow, I'm really leaning towards the Qs ending up somewhere around 412.50. Something like this would make sense, maybe even a little bit deeper. I just want to see where that support is actually real quick. Let me go look where the next support is. So it's this big zone. I would say something right here, maybe this 411. 411 area looks pretty good, maybe even just a double bottom. Pretty much any test of this zone I'd be happy with, and then I can play maybe an hourly divergence down here. So I think we do have some selling that comes in, and then we see that reaction this way. But remember, earnings can just rip everything related to structure away from this area. Now, this made sense from a probabilities perspective for the options market. Now you're a little bit lower beneath it, so now you could see some kind of reaction up on Friday. It's not insane to close above this by Friday, to close above this weekly expected move. So I'm just looking for this type of thing to happen. You guys know I like my 2 hours. So if I see that 2 hour rollover, that'd be pretty good. So I just want to pay attention to how I could get screwed, which is going to be the 30-minute rolling back up, but how this could break down again would be a 5-minute curling back down. With the sentiment that's going on right now, I would like at least a 5-minute divergence before I'm convinced to take anything. Bearish flag setup. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going over. Some bearish flagging going on. Now this little pop here kind of says something a little different, but we'll have to find out. Maybe we go and make another touch of a point up here. Maybe we go retest that area, but it just looks like the Q is probably going to end up somewhere down towards 413 to 411. Yeah, see, you could do that. If you want to make that type of play, Anthony, it's just me, myself, I'm being very patient here. I know that we can drop lower. I understand things like Meta are outside its weekly. By the way, Meta's expected move is like right where we're at right now. It's like right here. So your expected move, you're hitting that right now. But as far as Microsoft goes, you do have this structure telling you, hey, there's divergence down at this level. You can take that play. I would just be very careful and not use an amount that you're not willing to lose all of it. PCE will be hot tomorrow. I've got a hot take. PC comes in not hot tomorrow. All right, let's do a breakdown of all these stocks, guys. Let's do a breakdown. I've got tons of stuff going on in the personal life with the startup that I'm helping. Like I said, this isn't my only thing that I do. It's actually the only thing that I do for about $15 a day. So I gotta get to my other stuff because that stuff it makes me more money, and I'm probably gonna have to pay for a house soon. So looking for this right now, this flagging here, see if that's able to break down. All right, that would convince me for the second move down. Now, what I want to pay attention to from there, still want to watch this 30-minute. Just because we start to break down from here doesn't mean we can't break down quickly and then see some kind of buying back up. So still paying attention to this 30-minute crossing up into positive territory over the next 24 hours. But overall, we're paying attention to the 2 hour. I think the 2 hour's got a good shot to do something like this for the SPY, and a very, very similar thing for the Qs, right? Very, very similar thing for the Qs. Get into this zone down here. I think that's where a solid little bounce could come. And then I'm expecting maybe we go up towards 438.28, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. See if that is the big bounce. See if that's the euphoric move that's going to come. Now, as we move down the line here, Apple could do a lot of stuff. A lot of these are going to set up similar signals. Okay, a lot of these are going to set. And Anthony, do not be upset if Microsoft goes up tomorrow. Know in your head, I know it's going to upset you if you're like, oh, I almost took that play. But just know, it's earnings. It could easily have gone against you. It is a 50-50 flip. The technicals happen to get it right. And if you want to prove that to yourself, go look at the technicals of Tesla. Go look at the technicals of Netflix showing it wanted to bounce up before earnings and then it crashed down. Go look at the technicals of Meta. Meta was not looking like a horrible setup to the upside, and then it just sees a huge crash. So, and pay attention that the numbers were good and they just said something bad. That's overall what's happening there. But Apple, I think you got a good shot of seeing this pull back down like this and then getting a reaction later on with some kind of 2-hour divergence. Remember, this is what I'm paying attention to for Apple. This curving up of the MACD here, confirming divergence very, very close to the center line. So I think a big move is coming for Apple. Now, how high do I think that could get us? I think we got to pay attention to this zone again. But if we pay attention to that zone, if we go positive here, you can see Apple go in an uptrend for quite some time. Maybe it actually wants to burst through that zone, use it as support again, like Apple likes to do in a lot of its zones. And then we see that rip to the upside one more time. And around this area up here, we can talk about it. But I'm just leaving that as an idea in your head. Obviously, this is a downtrend right now, obviously, but I'm just telling you this is a moment where that shift can happen. So you want to pay attention to shorter time frames. A 2-hour is going to be very, very good to watch in this area because a 2-hour is going to tell you, hey, yeah, it breaks down, but then pops back up. So that's something to pay attention to going forward. Tesla, this thing making an upward move. This is where resistance is going to come in. We talked about the momentum dying out up here. 15-minute divergence, double top could be happening. That might land us back into this zone. And oh, no, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate that. And then maybe we do something like this to head higher. The reason I'm talking about upside is because Tesla's been beat up for a long time, and it has a triple divergence down here. Triple divergence. We don't want to mess around with that momentum. So any pullback can be met with buying. And if we get down into this zone again, that will be a great buying price. So look for that to set up right there. Amazon dropping off dramatically. Congratulations if you were paying quick attention because it actually came outside its weekly and it went down towards 166.12, and 166.12 is our kind of line in the sand for Amazon. So now we have to see what it produces with earnings next week, but we could get some kind of buying back up in this area. Why? Because you're actually setting up the 2-hour divergence right now for Amazon. So Amazon's actually setting up that 2-hour divergence for you right now and telling you, hey, I'm going to give you a big move soon if I can get that momentum to go back to positive territory. So this is an area, this little section here where we could see a bounce from Amazon. Doesn't mean we can't go retest it, get some kind of 30-minute thing going on or something, right? But the 30 minutes showing you a little divergence as well. NVIDIA, this one a little different. Able to cross, but did it go positive yet? Not necessarily. It's kind of creeping right by that center line. You want to see a strong move here to convince us it's going up. Why? Because that weekly expected move is right here. So the options market does not expect NVIDIA to go higher than this level right here. So if it does, that would be a surprise. So just be cautious right here because this could just be some kind of push down. We still could be turning over this 2-hour soon. We could see some kind of roll down and then see that pop back up in the future with maybe a double bottom. A little sturdier base is what I would look for if this is going to be some kind of higher low. I'm going to need most likely this 30-minute to actually really see some strength here. And then up in this area, I don't want to see any divergence or anything like that. AMD, similar story, positive territory, giving you a green bar, but we're not seeing that big positive move. So how could you get screwed to the upside? Well, if this 2-hour crosses back down, I would say you could probably even look at an hourly and see if that thing's about to cross. Look where it is. It's right by the center line. So if this hourly crosses down, you're most likely testing this low, maybe even going to a new one. So just be cautious. AMD not behaving the best over the last few months. Meta, this one just dropped off significantly. Do you know where that weekly expected move is? It's right there. So this would be a profit-taking level, and you're seeing people take profit because this is what's expected, so they're going to take profit. We'll have to see if this is able to build back up. So Meta, what you're looking for is maybe a continuation play. Maybe the 30-minute goes up towards the center line. So what if Meta sees some kind of reaction up towards the center line going into next week, and then that curls back down, center line, boom. That would be the next push down. I'm sorry, I'm just burping and hiccuping like crazy. Microsoft, this is one. You have a 30-minute divergence. Okay. You have a 2-hour divergence. Okay. Any other time, I would be like, hey, is this close to the weekly expected move? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now this go up. The only problem is we have earnings, guys. We have earnings, and that is very, very sketchy at this point. So earnings have been very, very wild. So be careful around these earnings. I know you may want to take some upside. If you do take upside here, I'm not trying to tell you not to do anything. I'm not trying to tell you to do anything. What I'm trying to tell you is I personally would use an amount of money if I'm trading around earnings. I would use an amount of money that's maybe only $500, something that I do not care about. I'm just like, okay, $500. If I lose it, that's okay. If I make a bunch of money off it, that's cool too. That's how I would treat this right now. I would not treat it like I'm going to put $5,000 behind this and make $20,000 tomorrow. No, if you're trying to make a play on this, I would use a very small amount that you don't mind losing, maybe only one contract. Google here, hey, it's confirming right now. It's confirming downside right before the earnings. It's confirming this divergence, which could put you into a negative trend, and you're kind of on the brink of going negative here. And Google has seen selling throughout this entire upward move right here. You can see it. So you see the red every time we go green. You see the red come in every single uptick. We get some red. So Google, what if it does produce good numbers? Well, then that thing go up, and all these divergences mean nothing. That's the problem here, but you do have those. So if you wanted to take a play here, hey, small amount of money. Small amount of money. You can make plenty of money with the expected moves that are coming for tomorrow. And if you want to join the Patreon right now, we're going to be giving the daily expected moves for every stock that we cover on this channel. So you're going to get daily expected moves for even the stocks that have earnings tomorrow, and that's a very powerful thing to have, okay? So you'll have a good place to take profit most likely tomorrow with a weekly and a daily expected move from Google and Microsoft. So pay attention to that. Join the Patreon. It's down in the description. And if you need to learn how to trade around these weekly ranges, how to use them, just check out the course. It's $149 for the next 10 days. Now, some people are paying attention to SMCI. SMCI seeing this uptick. Okay, now we're starting to break through the top a little bit. It's kind of complicated because you're stuck between two zones, but I'd say this looks like a solid positive move that's going to come. Now, will that push us up into this zone and then that just fails? That's what we have to pay attention to. But the signals here pointing up in positive territory above the center line on the RSI. It's been beat down for a long time. You're below the 200. So if we do get that reaction, just watch out. You could get rejection anywhere up in that area there. Something we need to look at as well. I wanted to show you guys the 10-year. Right, 10-year starting to drop off a little bit on the daily scale, starting to wick out just a little bit. We do get data tomorrow, so this could change as of tomorrow, but it really looks like the 10-year needs to pull back for a little bit of time. So something could happen with that. What does that mean? TLT could roll up. Now, why could TLT roll up? Well, the 2-hour divergence, and it was outside of its range for a moment there if you were paying attention. So 2-hour divergence on TLT could mean these bond traders want to shift that momentum back to positive. We'll have to see what happens with that going forward. The dollar, something very big to pay attention to. 2-hour divergence leading to a pop, but now we're seeing that drop off. So we have to pay attention if this 4 hour is able to actually curl up. That would be a bigger sell-off. But as this drops off, and if we head to lower levels as the dollar drops off, that could be insiders buying. Now, the volatility here, as of right now, not able to curl up on a 4 hour. I mainly pay attention to a 2 hour. This is where I think we could keep seeing a little bit of volatility here, and then maybe that drops off, and then we go all the way down to 13 or something like that, and then that happens. I'll be paying attention to any divergences on the 2 hour for the VIX and be looking at the SPY at the same time. That's how I like to do it. Now, the big thing with volatility we have to pay attention to, the daily. The daily, you see this MACD, or no, not the MACD necessarily. It's curling down. So we could get a reaction down, but what's happening with the 200 and the 50? Uh-oh, they are touching right now. So if you do not want to see a crash, you really want to see some positivity come in very, very soon. But I hope that was a pretty good breakdown for you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming to the live stream. I really, really do. I wish you guys all the luck in the world trading the rest of the day. Make sure if you want to learn about all this stuff, you want to get a better understanding about indicators and get a trading strategy for volatile times, check out the course in the description. Plenty of people in here have taken it and really, really have enjoyed it. They have a new perspective on these indicators. They understand them better, and therefore they can trade better. Once you start to learn why these indicators are important, just not what they are, you can really become a better trader with some very good skills, and you're going to need those skills in a market like this. So I really appreciate you guys coming by. Make sure to grab that course, $149 down in the description. keep having this itch up here. So 149 down in the description if you want to grab that. It's just going to be that until May 4th. I need to change it in the description. It's going to be till May 4th. So if you get paid, you know, at the end of the month or something like that, I'm going to do it for a few extra days going into May because I like Star Wars. But thank you guys so much. Tune into YouTube later on because we're going to be posting a little video tonight. We're going to be posting those daily ranges to Patreon, and we're going to just be paying attention. I'm going to pay attention to this stuff now. If I see any signals set up or anything like that, I will be posting it to Patreon later today. But as of right now, I think I'm going to sit on my hands and just wait for the craziness to play out. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you to everyone for liking and subscribing. You guys are always fantastic, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on YouTube later. If you guys want to hang out and chat for a little bit, I'll leave it up for a little bit longer.